you lose your Birdie Beetle hat?
As you can see here, I made Peter.
So Scotty stole our faces?
Scotty stole all the faces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I find Pete, I make him a priest. What are those things called?
Butterflies?
Yeah, no, they're called rock moths.
Did we get any word from sponsors with the word hands? No. But we got something else.
My vision of 2021 did not include rapping.
He controls all of the assets, always changing out the gears, but don't ever be forgetting, it'll always be 5 years. 5 years, what you did. Do not forget what you did.
He goes, I've done a thing. And I was like, oh yeah, what's that? And he goes, so watch the Billie Eilish documentary. I'm like, oh no.
Yes. No.
Hello, welcome to Back Pocket for Thursday, the 6th of May, live from the Loki Studios. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and tonight we turn the audience against us again. But I can't make people angry all by myself, so I brought along
Gus, who will rap no more. One album and I'm done. I am done. Next to me.
Steph, who has never rapped and will never rap, you're welcome.
And Peter, and tonight I'm dressed by Reese Wild, ladies and gentlemen. It's
very
dressed by
lovely
Reese
shirt.
Wild.
Good shirt.
Great shirt.
Analog, very analog.
Welcome everybody to Back Pocket. It's lovely to have you here. It's lovely to see all, I was going to say faces. I don't know 90% of your faces, so it's just seeing your names in the chat. Avexia, G Fantasy, which I'm guessing is Giant Fantasy. I'm not going to say that one. Leo Matt, Toxic Jorg.
Try doing that on Kids TV live chat. Hey there, everybody. Yeah. Of course, who's Fury Lover? Fury. Oh, okay, moving on.
And of course, it's not just us here in the studio. We're also joined by Will on the ones and twos. Hello, Will.
You can go.
Oh, yeah. Good.
So that's who was under the desk last week.
I knew it was going to go one of two ways. If you remember last week.
Good stuff.
It's Bring a Friend Day.
Bring a friend to work.
Who is that?
That's Sam.
It's just my guard. I just bring him around. Usually you don't see him. Usually he's out before.
That's good.
Cut to me.
That is actually, so that's Will's mate Sam, who I think is actually, and I'm sorry, my favorite viewer. You want to know why?
I do want to know why.
Why?
Because he listens.
He does listen.
Because he's not just the person who's like, oh yeah, severed feet, M&Ms. Like, you know, the things that are just so obvious about what this show is.
Yeah.
He's here for the deep cuts. He turned up tonight, he shook everybody's hand, and he was like, thanks for having me. Well, like, you're welcome. And he said, and as a gift, I brought along a packet of assorted creams.
Fuck yeah.
That's some like deep level lore.
He listens. That's what I'm saying. So now
Pocket
we can enjoy
lore.
a packet of
Good
assorted
shit.
creams tonight.
Very much, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Sam. Thank you, Sam.
As always, we can be bribed with food, as is evident in every episode of this show.
And we will eat whatever you send us, anthrax coated or not.
How are you guys doing? Angus, you're looking...
I'm relaxed after... Wait.
That just trailed off.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Finish that.
Really?
Schlubby?
You're looking great.
Thank you very much.
You're looking really.
Yeah, we're more... I was going to say we've got things more in order than we did last week, where everything just kind of started and whirlwind out of control. I feel like the energy's down, the attitude's up. But yeah, there's like...
Oh, good.
Yeah.
They set the tone.
Yeah.
You can have like a good low energy show where everything's like hard hitting
You
analysis.
said the quiet part loud.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm about to go away. I've got a week-long adventure.
If only you'd done it a day earlier.
I know, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to a little holiday.
Where are you going?
I'm driving to Alice Springs. With
where?
From Adelaide.
From 30 k's outside of Alice.
Yeah, exactly. My parents are doing a road trip. My dad's starting the first leg of it by himself. He's at the age now where I was like, Dad, you and I, we should do this leg together. You know, we should bond. Also, don't die. Like, he's old and he's going to drive to Alice Springs, like through the desert. There's like
What's
a
your
cattle
mum doing?
So she's going to fly to Alice Springs and then join the rest of the trip.
Mum's got it switched on.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. So, yeah, we can do that. And then I will be back next week, probably right now. I will be walking in the door this time next week, back from that trip.
How do they travel? Like, are they camping? Do they have an RV? Is there a caravan?
They have a big pop-up caravan. It's
yeah,
like an outbacky. It's called the Dingo. It's got huge off-road tires. It's got like hundreds of drawers for my dad to lose shit in, and it pops up into a living space. But it's like
So it's a trailer caravan.
Yeah,
Like a camper van. Well,
But it's like we're going off-road.
What's the temp there like at the moment?
I believe it's very cold at night, but I think it's kind of like your mid-20s during the day.
cool.
Like I've got
It's
layers.
22 degrees right now.
The closest
At night, yeah.
I've been to the outback was like the very sort of west corner of Queensland, which was pretty outback.
I've done Allison further north, and like it's an amazing area, but I've never done this part, so I'm just slowly ticking off areas of Australia. I'm doing Cooper Pedy, doing Chambers Pillar, doing Lake Eyre.
Is Cooper Pedy where they all live underground?
Yep, it's the open mines, all
That
that kind of
sounds cool.
stuff. We're gonna camp above ground, and yeah, we're free camping. So we're just. I was gonna swag it, but I think I'm just gonna stay in the tent at the foot of my dad's bed.
Are you going to take
Like a
requests?
dog.
Request for what?
I would.
Like a dog.
I didn't even hear that.
Actually, not our dog. Our
Not our
dog sleeps
dog.
in our bed.
That's true.
I want you to send a picture to us that we can put on.
I'll come
next
back
week.
with all the photos from.
I want the Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, silver cape while you're standing on top
Oh,
of
yeah.
this.
It's not what I need to
That's
bond with
what-
my father. Dad, can you take a quick photo of
I
me?
think it would be amazing. It would be so good.
Bugger it. let's
It would
do
be so good.
I did just on that, the other trip I did with my dad was through, we hiked across Scotland. And when I did that, I actually found the exact point where Daniel Craig and Judi Dench stand when they're looking over the moors in Skyfall.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I was hiking across Scotland through some famous moors. I was like, I wonder where that is. And bless the internet, you can look it up and find like the exact point.
Oh, yeah.
But then I could get close enough on Google Maps that I had to use the reference image and just hike down the road on Google Maps for like an hour until I was like, wait a minute, the creek does that. There's a a lamp pole. Found the exact one. Made my dad take a photo with a miniature Aston Martin held in the foreground of the photo to try and replicate the same shot.
60 likes on Instagram.
Best one I've ever done.
I love that we did a Hobbit tour when we were in New Zealand, and there was it was a lovely farm that had some really epic cliffs and stuff. But to make a whole tour out of it, they just took us through all the places, and they'd hold up like a printed out screenshot in like a
Laminated.
plastic sleeve or something, and she'd be like, and if you see the edge of that tree there. Is that tree right there? And we'd all be like,
In a delightfully disarming Kiwi accent as well, I imagine. So you're like,
It was
oh, bless
very
them.
impromptu as well. It was like there was a sign on the side of the road that we were like, yeah, let's do it. And it was like we spent like 3 hours at this farm. And like the most interesting thing to come out of that was it was cool seeing like, yeah, there was a shot here and there was a shot there and there's bits of set that got left on the side of the mountain because they couldn't pull them out and whatever. But there's heaps of palm trees in New Zealand like there is in Australia. So they had to just like comp all of those trees out of the tree line.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Very
Like
tropical
even in this like
Middle Earth.
Yeah.
The only one, just staying on that, the only one I've seen people do, which I've gone like, it's some of that touristy stuff can be a little like, oh God, come on. The one I think's amazing is if you go to Hawaii, there's areas where they filmed Jurassic Park to look like Isla Nublar at the island, and there's like some dramatic big rolling green areas with the cliffs behind it. And when you do the tour, one thing, the tour guide has a huge rubber T-Rex puppet that they take a photo of, and they'll film it of them going like that, and you run along the area that the T-Rex came
That's
out.
amazing.
And I've seen it from numerous different friends who've all done it. I'm just like, it's kind of
Amazing.
great.
yeah.
Genocide in the chat said, "Are you guys a backstage theatre crew?"
Us, yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I
we're all
always
black.
I always
I know.
try to avoid, but I really wanted to wear these fun pants.
They are fun pants.
But you were wearing a fun jumper before. But do you get too hot?
Yes,
That's too hot.
and also I didn't want to wear that jumper. I wanted to wear the fun pants and let the pants do the talking.
I thought you were wearing the fun pants while you. Oh, but you didn't want to draw attention away from
No,
the fun pants.
I'm
Yeah,
about the
right, right.
pants.
Yeah,
This
okay,
is
yeah.
meant to be like downplayed,
The
and you
jumper
weren't wearing that.
I was not wearing this
originally.
shirt, but I did
Neither
agree
were
to
you.
wear whatever
No.
shirt gets sent in to the studio.
It's going to make for a bland thumbnail, everyone.
unless it needs to be blurred, and that's too complicated. So you can send in whatever, and I'll wear it.
But you
Send in by
can send
Rex.
in a t-shirt with a super graphic image on it that's pre-blurred.
Yeah, totally. Blur it and then Vista print it and
Yeah,
then
and
send
then
it to me
send
and I'll
it
wear
in.
it.
Actually,
That's
you know what?
totally fine.
yeah.
We were talking about
Really
gaping
rude.
earlier, and that's what I'd like to see.
Send through something really rude, and people have to then make in the stream settings a blurry version that sits over him the whole time.
And also
he'll do
over
it.
Nick, when we cut to Nick. and
yeah.
also
If we did it
over-
now, he'd
yeah.
just be flesh.
yeah. You could,
Speaking of fun pants, really quickly, This brings up a thing that I forgot to mention when
Okay,
we
fun
talked
pants.
about a trip we went on. Speaking of trips, speaking of fun pants, these
on.
look like fun pants, but Stephanie, they look like your knees would get cold.
What?
What?
Have
That's
you
the
never
oldest
seen-
man
What the
bullshit
fuck?
I've ever
Let
heard.
me-
That?
It's not.
Oh, you haven't even spent the week with your dad yet.
No, this is that was the opener. That's not the main crux of.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
The second part is because Steph
Start as you and
Give me a fucking assorted cream. I can't handle this.
Steph delightfully called me up when we went
So
camping.
close. One more. Yeah. Sorry. Go.
Kingston.
No, not why you do this.
Oh, that was fucking
I
incredible.
was in. My mouth is too small.
Steph called me out for bathing in a stream when we went camping, which I did, and which was hilarious.
It was very like mid-century romance novel.
Sure. The thing I forgot to call you out on, which was I thought delightful as well, is at one point I went to my car and Steph was in ripped jeans, and as the sun was setting, she had a can of bug spray just for the gaps in her knees, just going.
Gotta protect them.
And I went past him. I just went past him, and went,
He caught me mid-spray, and I was like,
and we didn't even joke about it. I just went,
That's funny.
and you went, and just like embarrassed.
I
cringed, and went
really hate mosquitoes.
on. Totally sensible, but it was like.
But I
yeah,
really
not
like
pants for
exposed
camping.
knees.
Well, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like it's just a bit of ventilation, you know?
Hey, I'm half the time I'm wearing ripped jeans.
That's true.
It's true.
All right, so that's the show. Thanks very much for watching, everybody.
What is the show again?
I don't even remember what I had something. Oh, that's right. Speaking of fun pants, next week's news is going to be on a Tuesday. There you go. That's all the information you need to know. We've got a job next week that we cannot move on Monday. So the back podcast will instead go to air Tuesday morning at the normal time of 10:30. But it's going to be on Tuesday instead of Monday. That's all you need to know. The good thing is you won't really miss it because if you turn up on Monday and it's not there, you'll be like, oh, that's right. It's on Tuesday. But it's not like it's happening on Sunday and then you turn up on Monday and you're like, oh, fuck, I missed it. So that's our show. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Back to knee shaming.
Yeah, back to niche shaming. Should we talk
Please.
about video games?
We probably should.
I'm excited to do it. Let's talk about video games with a little segment that we like to call I'm just saying what you'll be playing. Brought to you by Brent Jones, aka LokiCat. And what is there to say, Sam, about LokiCat that hasn't been said yet? He's got no
Either
clue.
we, Sam. Either do we.
That's
Hence
fine.
The awkward handball.
We are contractually obligated to spend a certain amount of time each week talking about LokiCat.
I didn't sign no contract.
This is that time.
Okay.
This is the time where we talk about him. This is the allocated period of time in which we mention the word LokiCat a few times so that he feels like he's getting his...
I have something to say about LokiCat.
We're out of time, actually. That's all we've got.
Damn. Okay. I'll save it for next week.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
probably got it. Yeah.
LokiCat has informed me that he is not coming to PAX, which is sad because I thought after meeting LokiCat in person, maybe we'd have more like.
Yeah, what's that about?
Well, I think it's just like
He wants
it's
to watch you
It's
sweat every
expensive.
time.
It's COVID-y. Like it's not worth it for some people.
Oh, okay. Was that the... Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, right. No,
I just thought, wants to watch us sweat. Like, us meeting them would then give us more information to talk about.
Yeah, right.
It's like, actually, you know what? I'm not going to meet you guys.
I
wanna see
respect
how-
your decision not to go, but I will be sad not to meet you in person.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad you won't be there. All right. No, he knows I'm kind of kidding. All right. Let's talk about some video games
Totally.
because there's been tons of stuff finally coming out this week, next week, maybe for all the weeks for the rest of the year. The video game season is heating up, and the biggest one to drop this week comes out tomorrow. A little something.
Cold?
Call.
5 years.
Oh, God.
No.
God, I was
Just kidding. We're not
And
gonna play that all
Let it
night.
die.
And I want you to play the 1.5 minute remix. Resident Evil Village.
Resident
Evil Village.
We all have it. 3 of you have played it,
Correct.
and 2 of you have finished it.
Correct.
You finished it first,
Yeah, I'm the best.
so you get to start. What do you think about Resident Evil Village?
Well, let's preface this by saying we're not going to deep dive on Resident Evil because, yes, Gus and I have finished it, but Nick hasn't started yet. And Nick is going to be playing for the Game Club and starting streaming tomorrow, streaming the game. So if you're not keen to play it, you can watch Nick play the first couple of hours tomorrow and maybe you'll get inspired to play it.
Or maybe you'll be inspired just to continue watching Nick play it the whole way through.
I would
because
prefer
that's
that.
the idea
That could
with
also be the case.
any Game Club game is, you're going to play it all the way through.
We're trying to steal the sales away from the game.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I think I'm the only one on the couch also who played through 7, and I really enjoyed 7. No spoilers, please, says Cawdor 1988, and I do not intend to. And we're showing footage of the trailer, not of the game, because you'll see plenty of gameplay from Nick tomorrow. I did enjoy this game quite a lot. I prefer 7 as a horror game, and this is a really fun ride in its own way.
Yep.
And that's all I really want to say about it before we go really deep into spoilers. Yeah. It's a good time. I think people will enjoy it. I think it'll appeal to a much broader audience than 7. But for me, it wasn't the experience that I necessarily wanted out of Resident Evil. And I think that will be appealing to a lot of people who were turned off by 7.
Can I ask a question that you may not be able to answer?
Yes.
Like, what is it about 7 that you enjoyed that defined like a Resident Evil style experience compared to what you got from this?
Well, I think it's actually that 7 was less Resident Evil than this game.
Yeah, totally.
It was heaps scarier, in my opinion. Obviously,
It was more DNA shared with like PT, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
It was a big departure for them in regards to making it this kind of like very Texas Chainsaw Massacre body horror. Low enemy count, like, you know.
It was much more claustrophobic, dark, and enemy encounters were much more intimate.
Yeah.
Whereas this is much more action-based.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be really appealing to people who were turned off by 7, as I said. So I think it's probably a smart thing for the series, And it is a good game, but it's not 7.
Yeah. I fucking loved it.
You
and
did.
I just want to say, like, I
You
was
kept messaging me. You were like, you're going to have so much
I
fun.
was just like, I was so relieved that I was really anxious leading up to it because I was terrified by 7. I respect the hell out of 7. I wish I had the balls to play it a little more. Like, it scared me so much. Whatever is that sense of horror, that really gets to me.
Steph and I were talking about it earlier. What is it, Steph?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What kind of things are the family doing?
What are the
that
family
scares
like?
us?
If you could describe the actions of the family.
Well, no,
Live
this
on
is
air.
how you described them. You don't. I was saying that I like horror that centers around like ghosts and supernatural things, and I don't like torture porn and like horror. And Nick is like, yeah, I don't like horror things where it's like you go into a house and there's a family and they're gonna like eat you and fuck you at the same time.
Yeah.
And then I said, that's a weird image from my head. And then
Nick proceeded to show you the.
No, I
she
did
did
it.
it.
I just
Oh, you did it.
I was like, it'll be like this.
Which is exactly. I'm terrified. That's 7.
And then we spent like 6 minutes doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't 7. And that was why I had a great time with it. I agree with everything Peter said. I enjoyed it probably a bit more than him, actually, probably a lot more.
Yeah.
I liked that I could feel like it was kind of like this isn't spoiler, it felt like kind of a best of pulling all the best parts of Resident Evil, the good and bad, and throwing them all into this kind of like, as Pete said, a ride. It's like a roller coaster. It's yeah. And so I would implore people who are just completely saying, I'm never going to touch this because it's a survival horror game. It is definitely on the side of more adventure survival horror. And yeah, I had a ball.
Adventure survival action.
Yeah.
Not horror at all, really.
Look, it's got good kind of like. I'm
See, it's funny because I read tons of reviews on this, and lots of people have been going like it's the scariest one.
No,
and it has like
That's key in the fact that different people find different things scary.
horror, like fear is so subjective in this.
And I've had this conversation a bunch of times, so I'm sorry to rehash it, but that's what being married is. What I find scary, what I enjoy in horror is like ghosts and supernatural stuff, because I find it spooky in the moment, but like I know in my head that's not real.
Yeah.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah,
I don't believe in any kind of spiritual afterlife. So for me, I see that movie and I'm scared in the moment, but it doesn't stay with me afterwards. Was when I watch like the Saw movies or something.
Yeah.
I find that horrifying. I couldn't get through the first one, and I haven't seen any of the ones that superseded it.
The first one is the only good film in the Saw series.
Well, I don't care. I don't
Okay,
want
we're
to
off to. But you will, with that thinking, I think you'll like this more.
Because I was like, ghosts, I know that they're not real.
Yeah.
And Peter's like,
Yeah, totally, yeah.
He's like, I find ghosts scarier because like, how do you kill them?
Totally, yeah.
And he was like, and this is like the most like blokey thing you've ever said. He was like, if it's a man, he's like, I know how to take that on.
If it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre dude, it's like if I could
you
find
can
a
shoot
gun
him.
and shoot him, he would die.
Yeah.
But if I shoot the Grudge,
Yeah.
it keeps going. Bed sheets.
So true.
It needs to fuck off.
I am reminded of this because I'm with you where I find that the real stuff because I'm reminded of the Superman tagline from the Richard Donner film of "You will believe a man can fly."
Yeah.
When I watch that kind of horror, it's like you will believe a man will fucking eat you.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you guys to finish the game?
I think we were both around sort of 8 hours or so.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
playing on PC and did the normal difficulty in just under 8 hours. And I do feel like PC probably made it a bit easier as well. Really easy to click heads on PC.
Yep.
Where it'd be a little bit harder. I'm sure there's some auto aim and stuff.
There was,
on
and I-
console, but like a little harder to be like really accurate in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
which definitely takes away some of the horror.
Yeah.
Is like, it was way too easy on the normal.
My regret
Really
was that I
scary.
went in on the easiest setting. I'm not ashamed to say I was really terrified I was going to struggle getting through this game. And putting it on the easiest setting, I was there to enjoy the story, the setting, the atmosphere, and all that kind of stuff. I found it a little too easy. I was like, no, you can't change it midway through the game, so I wish I had. I think
you can knock it down, but not up.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say I changed it
Oh,
because I started on normal and then I was like, nah.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah.
I wish I had because I would say for anyone who's like, I would implore people to try a harder difficulty in the sense that it will make the bigger threats a bit scarier because it's the marriage of being scared of having to redo that area plus a creature jumping out at you. But anyway, that's beside the point. I was kind of like, I'm still happy that I played through the whole thing and I loved all the atmosphere and design of it all, that it was like, I felt tingles of spookiness the whole way through without having it sort of rammed down my throat, literally, having the camera grabbed and forced to say, again, we're going to touch on all this later, this is what you are scared of, like, or, jump scares galore, which I found 7 might have had more of, but again, I didn't play the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then you've started your journey.
Yeah, I've played about 90 minutes of it, I think, and I feel like I'm not this game's target audience. Like, as much as like, I would say I'm enjoying it more now that I'm kind of in it and I'm doing the more puzzle solvey stuff. Like I enjoy that, and I enjoy like spooky houses, and I like the kind of puzzles of like trying to figure out how to access other parts of the house and stuff like that. I'm enjoying that. I find the setup of it really lame, and I find the writing really lame, and that instantly makes me like not care about the character or the situation that he's in. And even though I'm like scared of being chased by scary things, I'm also like not super invested in this person surviving.
It's like you're scared, you're not scared for him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I think when I first kind of started, like, and I can't really talk about this without spoiling stuff, so I'll leave this broader discussion, like for the game club thing, but like the whole setup of it, I was just like, what? And then once I was in there, I was like trying to focus more on the setting that the game is trying to create.
Yeah.
There's
So-
definitely, it does feel sometimes like there are 2 teams of either game designers or writers, and they're like, we'll take it from here, and they do a cutscene which is very Capcom, very Resi. What is going on?
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're left to your own devices to walk through a moody area, and you're like, this is great. Like, this feels moody as. So
Yeah, and
it's at odds with itself.
The setup and the writing feels really dated to me. And it's like, I know you can't compare every narrative to The Last of Us, but like...
But you literally can.
But you can,
because that is what it needs to be compared to. It's like video games can tell stories this good, and yours is not that good. And that's not necessarily...
It's not even like close. It's just like it feels dumb by comparison to the kinds of things that video games are doing now.
Yeah.
And that annoys me. And so when I see it like reviewing so well, I'm like, how?
And also one of the things that Gus mentioned earlier, even the bad things about Resident Evil are here. That's what he's talking about, is like storytelling is dumb, cutscenes don't really make any sense. It's just about having fun. And this Resident Evil doesn't really, it does a bit, but it doesn't embrace how stupid it is. It is stupid, and it's fun most of the time, but it's not like a game that is reflecting on like it not being the Last
I'm
of
okay
Us.
with that though. I think it is.
It's just bad because it's not good.
I think it
opposed to being
it knows what it
intentionally
is and just goes, if it was any more tongue-in-cheek, you would then see the writing on the wall. I think it knows to an extent that it is a Resi game with all these cliches and
But see,
I
like-
think it's corner cutting, not intentional.
And there's even like stupid little nitpicky things like at this day and age to kind of be in a game where you see the same like models and designs repeated so frequently throughout the world. Like the same trolley with 3 wine bottles on it is like
you get the wine
5.
bottles?
Yeah.
They're very
Like
exciting.
You'll see
there's
it in
5
the
of them
first-
in the
she's a
same
big lady.
room.
You'll see it in the first
Okay.
5 seconds. It is not a spoiler.
Okay, right.
I literally took a screenshot. I'm like, okay, haunted. What the fuck? And there's one Magnum. There's 3 of them.
Yeah, or like there's mirrors in the room and they don't want to like code the reflection or whatever, so they put a tea towel over it. It's the same mirror with the same tea
It also-
towel as in every single fucking room.
It plays to the point that you were talking about not being able to connect to the character because Ethan Winters doesn't have a face.
Yeah.
Hands.
Has
He's just-
never had
yeah.
a face, and that's really frustrating.
I
in the
can't
cutscene where
wait.
he's next to characters who have faces, and you're like,
Yeah, I can't wait to deep dive on Ethan Winters and his
Yeah,
motivations
yeah.
and the story, which we will do, obviously, Game Club game. So we will have a full episode for that.
Well, I'm very excited. I'm still super excited to start this, and
rock.
play along with you guys. So
I'm gonna watch
we'll be
the whole
doing
thing.
that tomorrow.
See, hey, I can't wait to watch you play it.
Yeah,
It's great.
again, I'm scared. But you have also you found yourself with so much time on your hands. You're going back.
Totally. I've actually, because obviously this game draws a heavy inspiration from Resi 4, which was kind of one of the games in the series that stepped away from the traditional survival horror and kind of spun the whole thing into a bit more of a action game. And I played on the GameCube back in the day, and I loved it. That's why I was really excited to play Village, and hence, when I finished Village, I was like, I kind of want to see how this not holds up, but just some of those original touchstones from 4. And so I booted that up and have been playing 4 again. And
Is this the remastered version?
yeah, it's the PC remastered Ultra HD version or something. There's a lot of it.
It actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Everything holds up except for the UI.
Oh,
Where you're like,
the
oh,
UI,
that's
the
all.
sound effects.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
joked with Pete earlier. It's still wonderfully creepy in the sense that it's one of the games where the zombies aren't just like brain dead zombies. They're like villagers who all sort of walk towards you slowly, and it's very unsettling. And this setting of this kind of I was going to say Eastern European, but I believe it's Spanish. You're in Spain, and it's just a very different kind of eeriness that they have about it that obviously dates well in terms of dark grey, low res textures. The game, for anyone who's played it, goes into some very weird places later on, and there's a weird kind of the character is a survival character in a space that suddenly you're being swarmed by zombies and you can't move very fast and you're trying to take them out with headshots. And then I don't know if you can find any combat wheel. It's a bit tricky, just a little bit further past here. When you finally do stagger a zombie, well, there's that.
That's staggering.
And there's also you can fly kick people, you can spin kick. The character of Leon is like this badass, stupidly written action hero who just does not. It stands at odds with everything else that the game does. But it is heaps of fun, and I wouldn't say it holds up as well as I thought it would. The controls are very still difficult. You've got this kind of I know they're
Well,
not
we've seen you every second shot as you're going into the controller setup.
yeah, it's not so much tank controls in the traditional Resi sense, but it is very sluggish, and that's kind of on purpose. But yeah, look, I've gone into this to see how long I will continue playing this, just to really be nostalgic for nostalgia's sake. But I had a lot of fun with it, and it's made me realize how much Village does draw on what this did really well, which is steps away from your zombies in a complex or a city-based kind of thing. And yeah, I had heaps of fun with it. I'm pretty sure most people have either played or tried playing this game, and yeah, it's heaps of fun. And I did this because I thought maybe I'd go back and play Resi 7. I watched some of it on YouTube. I'm like, fuck no, that game still looks horrifying. This is my jam. So I played a bit of this. It was good fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Steph, you were worried about getting creeped out with Returnal.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't worried about getting creeped out. I just saw everyone was talking about how hard it was, and I was
That's what you were scared of.
yeah,
Oh,
I
okay,
was
right.
nervous about just being really terrible at it. And I don't typically play roguelikes. I don't enjoy games where you just fail a lot and play the same sort of thing over and over and just hate yourself because you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So that's what I was envisioning for this experience, and I was so worried about it. But I streamed this for just over 4 hours last night, and it was awesome. I had the best time. I was so surprised by it. Yeah, it was. I guess I didn't. They've been so clever with the way they have designed this, in that, yes, you kind of are going through the same types of scenarios each time you die, but the things that matter hold over. So like when you eventually unlock a melee weapon, you hold on to that. And it's like every time you play the game, like you play through like the procedurally every time you do a run, it feels different because it's procedurally generated. So it's never the same kind of series of rooms, but you also unlock an extra new thing that progresses you forward, like without kind of spoiling things. Like it's like you feel like you've genuinely accomplished something really significant with each run. So it's not this kind of, it's not like when you're in a boss fight that you just are doing the same fight over and over and over and you just can't get it and you like get really frustrated. It feels like you're making like really important steps towards like progression each time, and it feels really different. And or you'll encounter a room that you've never seen before or an enemy type that you've never seen before, so it feels really fresh and exciting. And like, yeah, it was hard, and yeah, I died, but every time I died, I never felt like overly frustrated by it. My runs were quite long, like I felt like I was doing like reasonably well, and you know, I was just excited to get back in there, which is not a feeling that I was expecting to have. I thought I was just going to die frustratingly and just, you know, want to throw the controller, but like that isn't how I felt at all. And I didn't quite get to the first boss fight, I think, that people were talking about, but I think I got the key to the room that you go. So I think I was pretty close. And yeah, it was awesome. I think it's clever how they've, like, I think some other roguelikes have done this before, roguelites, where they've worked the idea of repeated death into the story, so it feels like something is, you know, a bit like that Edge of Tomorrow movie, that you're kind of caught in a loop that is part of that story. She's a really cool character. The enemy types are really interesting and the guns are really fun. And I love this whole, like, there is a mechanic in it where you can pick up little parasites that give you a bonus but also a debuff, and you have to kind of decide whether or not the debuff that you get is worth the bonus. And like at one point I had like 2 debuffs on me that you can work off by like completing certain objectives.
Objective.
So sometimes you can, like, okay, you have to have a few consumables or you have to kill 25 enemies or something like that, and then you work off the debuff and you just get to enjoy the plus of it. But like I was watching Grace, I'm Fall from Grace, stream it this morning, and she picked up a debuff that meant that she couldn't pick up any new guns. And it was like, then she just kept, of course she unlocked like 1 million guns straight after that she couldn't pick up, and that was like super frustrating. I think I got to a point where I had so much like a reduced proficiency that I really struggled in a fight, that I got frustrated by the debuffs that I had, then I got too scared to pick any of them up. Like, because it felt like gambling, where I was like, I don't...
It is. And that, like, that's part of the fun of these games, is like the risk versus reward.
Yeah. And being strategic with the choices that you make.
It's tricky, like, I would say other games or roguelikes that have done that in terms of like, oh, there's pros and cons to everything you pick up. This one feels like you really have to read them and have a think about it and be like, you know what, no. Like, if anything, I'm with you. I felt like I saw more that were negatives in the long run versus they were like 3 positives and 1 negative perk. It's like some of them were like, this is terrible. Why would anyone want this as a perk? So I was kind of taken aback by that, but it made me not run around and just grab everything and, you're right, slap on 6 parasites and pick up that and be like, oh, hang on, I'm super...
I really wonder, like, what kind of probability is coded into the game. Like, I felt like every time I attempted a new run, I achieved things quicker, and it felt like I was coming up. It didn't feel like I was retreading old ground. Like, they were presenting me with the new thing that I needed quicker. And then there was another situation where I picked up a like a consumable that would disable turrets.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is just a coincidence, but then it was like within 2 rooms, I went into a room that was just like had
Heaps of turrets.
8 turrets in it.
Yeah,
and I was like, was that a coincidence? Or like, do they know that I have this thing and now I can use it? Like, I don't know. I just kept coming into scenarios where I felt like the game was subtly trying to help me, even though it's like, this game is hard and it's going to present you with situations that make you die over and over and you have to do it all over again. But also there's like little like handouts that they're giving you at the same time.
That's so that's so interesting. I'm really glad you're liking it, because I so thought that this was not your kind of game.
So did I.
It's very much my kind of game, and I still really love it. I think the gameplay is amazing. Like the movement and the shooting and stuff are phenomenal. I really like the look of it. I've been playing heaps, and I definitely recommend that if you're interested in it, check it out. At the same time, I think as I'm continuing to play more, and I touched a bit on this on Tuesday, the idea that each run feels like it's less... Like, I play quite a bit of roguelikes, and each run feels like it's less experimental than I am used to in these kinds of games. That I didn't see there was actually a huge amount of variety after the first, like, couple of hours of, like... I couldn't go, I had this godlike run because I just found this weapon that is like broken just by chance because of like all the rolls that you get. You just have, and then which is what is something that I think is like, that to me is a bit of the like breadcrumb trail in roguelikes, is like you're going to just get that run where everything comes together and you just put together this build that seems like the game should never have allowed you to do this, and you just wipe, and that's how you make significant progress forward. And the game to me doesn't feel like it has that, and I've been thinking about why that is, and I saw some articles this week that touched on it, and I was like, this is so the answer. That this game has come out fully formed, and the modern roguelike, we see a lot go through like an early access period. And like Dead Cells, Hades, what's the one?
Loop Hero.
Isaac?
No, the one in the tower where you're the different family member.
Rogue
Legacy. Rogue Legacy 2, where these games come out and they go, okay, we're going to be tuning this game with the community. Because we'll just get thousands and thousands and thousands of points of data and then start like changing this up. And this game has come out, and I feel like there's just, at the moment, there's just not enough variety in the way that the gameplay works, and that the balance seems a little off as well, that it's always stacked against you in a way where I never really felt particularly powerful going through there. But because the runs are so long, like Binding of Isaac, which Lollyaholic says in the chat, is like the perfect example of going, every time you run through Isaac, you're like, I will never have a run like that again. There were 10,000 different things came together for this moment, and I feel like a lot of my runs in Returnal are, I did that, and now I'm kind of doing exactly the same thing. And because they are those long like stretches through to each boss, I switch between going, I'm having a ton of fun, and I'm a little disheartened that it's so the same for me each time. And then the other thing, like the no save thing is very frustrating, I feel like, because it just doesn't account for the way that people play video games these days. I like to play a few things each night, and I can't if I'm in the middle of a run. But I've gotten some hard crashes that I think I said to you, like I was on the run before beating the first boss, and it hard crashed as I was about to enter the boss room, and it just went to the PlayStation menu, and I go back in the game, and she wakes up in the fucking spaceship.
That happened
to
me too. Apparently that was the most recent patch that they released. I read an article about it today, because I was worried that it was like the PS5, but I was playing on the new PS5 that we have, and I was like, oh no, not this one too. But it's I looked at the error code, and it is specifically the patch that they released. But it means that the only way to fix it is to reinstall the game if you have that latest one.
Oh god.
Because they've rolled back the patch, but like that means then you lose.
And I could see definitely, like, as you said, the runs in this are particularly long, which has been, I've seen divisive for some people. Personally, I do kind of prefer the short runs in a roguelike, but that's something that you responded to well, obviously, playing it, and enjoyed that to a degree. And it's like, I agree with Nick what he said in terms of like, I finished Risk of Rain because I got a god run. I was like, this shouldn't happen.
Totally, yeah.
And I had the game played itself, and I just walked to the end. It was insane. And I feel like, there's less of those, I guess, sort of random chaotic elements that could play into this. It does feel a little more pared back to.
And I think that, and I just think that comes from like iterative building, for using a lot of outside data, because that's just how these games kind of get developed these days. But that being said, I just love the gameplay so much. I just love the shooting. I love the movement. And I really do feel powerful in the game, or not. I don't feel powerful. I feel good at the game. Like I feel like I know what I'm doing, and when I fuck up, it's definitely my fault, not the game.
I feel like there was enough in there for me to feel like I was experiencing new things, but also I found safety in the familiarity of the stuff that was that was not different. You know, I'd go into a room and I would kind of scope. I would walk into every room very slowly because I was very scared. And so I was like peeking around corners and stuff, even though my character was on auto run. I was like, but like if it was a room that I kind of recognized, I was like, I know this.
Yeah.
This is great. And then other times I'd walk into a room and then I'd get that lockdown thing and it was like, oh, these are all being perpetually healed by something. And also there's lasers. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to deal
runs.
with this now? But it was exciting as well. So I enjoyed the kind of mix of like, this is familiar. I've almost done either this exact room before or something very close to it. And then these kind of random whatever, like new things. Did you guys, I mean, I'm sure you did, that there was like a room with like tall things with a giant eye with the spotlight?
Oh, yeah. That's usually the run to the boss.
big stairs.
Yeah.
That's the boss. That's the boss. Is that?
I got done after a pretty good to average run, and on the run up there, I got the spotlight saw me. I got lasered, and I went down to like barely a pixel of health. And I was like, I told Nick, I went through the gate. I stood. There's a pit for the boss that you jump in. And I'd used every health pick up the way in or every integrity pick up. And I just stood at the top of the pit and was like, jumped in and I was like, okay. And the boss is like, and I was like, I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I should have gone and jumped off the map or something. It was just, But yeah, it's good to have a game like that that's really like, I don't know. I like games that want you to get good at them. And it's.
Yeah, but I agree with the saving thing. I think it's just like, I understand why they've made the game that way, but it's just not practical for the way people game as modern humans. And to say that, like, if someone has a busy lifestyle and the X amount of time, progression through a run and they can't just put it down and pick it up again in that exact spot.
Yeah, it's
really
like
unfair.
you've got all
You
these.
can put it in sleep mode, but then you can't touch your console at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dead machine.
Totally,
when you're
yeah.
back playing
Yeah,
the
you
game.
can't go
Yeah.
boot up a game of COD or like check
Yeah.
on your Destiny, whatever.
It's not a practical solution. I saw a tweet from them where they're like, hey, we hear you. Like,
yeah. And they are. I'm sure that they're going to implement something.
I think
there's definitely been.
It would be very smart.
I've been on the Returnal subreddit, and there are some shitty people on there just being shitty human beings. And I really like the fact that Housemart came out as well and were like, hey, how about you treat each other kindly? And maybe we'll think about a save system.
All the
Get
ransom.
people to behave.
You have also been trying to survive on the water.
Sorry, I was like, next person.
Well, sorry.
my
We should mention really briefly, we did a special stream on Returnal. If anyone did miss it, it's on our YouTube channel where Nick, Pete, and I, Pete played it for the first time.
Yep.
So if you want to hear some impressions, he got a good hour playing the game, and then we talked about it for
That was heaps of fun.
a bit of time afterwards as well.
That was great. We did a great job.
We did a good deep dive into that as well. But yeah.
Water.
Yes, I also played Raft.
It's called Raft.
Yeah, which is an older game. It's been out for a year or so, I think, but I'd never played it. And now that I'm a person who plays roguelikes and survival games, like, who knows what I might present you with next week.
Totally.
So this is like a survival game that you play on the water, and you literally go collecting, the ocean is very polluted. It's a very polluted place.
Yeah, it
it's
all
a
just
constant
floats
stream
fast.
of junk. And you have like a hook attached to a rope that you can use to kind of fetch stuff that's far away and pull it into you and use
It's
those.
got a fishing pole.
No, it's literally a rope.
No, I know, but I was just being.
He's making a
I was
bit.
being.
It's
Oh,
a bit.
right.
It's a bit.
It's
No one let
a
him have
large hook attached to a rope. There's no
it.
pole.
It was great.
There's no pole. And then you go kind of expanding out your raft.
There's no pole.
Expanding out your raft and kind of building all your survival systems that you need onto the raft. You do find islands, and you may ask, why wouldn't you just set up on an island?
Yeah.
Well, all the islands in
Real
this
tiny.
wall are very, very small. They're just like little rocks with a few trees on them, and you can't live there.
So not as big as your raft.
Not as big as your raft.
Game's not called Island.
That's true. So you can get some resources from, you can chop down the few palm trees that are there, get some fruit and stuff like that. You get the resources that you need to build a water filtration system so you can drink seawater, or rainwater, or catch it and
We can't
put it
even
in a
do
cup.
that on land.
Yeah.
Building little fish catchers and little barbecues and stuff like that. Although you can plant some fruit trees and flowers and stuff, but those pesky seagulls will get them.
Oh, yeah. I like the little nets you mentioned, catching fish, but also doing the collecting for you of all the rubbish that's floating into the boat.
Yeah. So it's it's really fun. And a kind of a cool spin on a survival genre, because you're limited to this very small space, and you have to be very space economical, and you have to be really, like many survival games, economical with the things that you choose to develop or to build first. But I really kind of like that it's so it feels quite different. And even though it's kind of claustrophobic at times, you become really savvy about how to make the most of the space that you have. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's fun. I want to kind of go back into it and see once.
It's been in early access for a while, like 2017 or something. It's been like I feel like it's been out there.
Yeah.
while,
And I feel like it was like $28 or something. It wasn't expensive.
I think it's $28 or 56 if you buy 2 copies and buy one for a friend as well.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
yeah, if you buy,
you want to play.
it's double the price if
Everybody
you buy another copy for a friend that you're like this. It's a multiplayer game. You can play co-op, I think, with like up to 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like if you wanted another person on your raft, so it's not lonely, you could buy that copy for them.
Yeah.
You could give it to them. You could play it with them once, and then they'll say, I never want to play this game with you again.
I didn't say with you. I just said I never want to play this game again.
Right.
So it wasn't personal.
It's a pretty
what
dumb
you were
game.
saying.
For the first time in the history
It's
of your
not.
relationship, it wasn't.
It wasn't you. It wasn't you.
I feel like as well, it's one of those games that when you kind of like go into play it and you start building your raft out and you're like, I don't really know what to do next. And then you sort of see other people's like multi-story
Totally, yeah.
raft creations online. You're like, oh, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do that. So yeah, I like what?
No, Reese is here, and I was just doing that because he noticed that I'm wearing the shirt that he
Oh,
supplied.
gotcha.
Did you
Dressed by
run
Reese.
into the main enemies of the game?
Sharks?
Yeah.
Salt.
Corrosion.
They gave you that one.
The sharks scared the crap out of me, which
Yeah.
is why I really enjoyed.
It's-
I picked this up originally because, like, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh god.
Yeah, if you've played Sea of Thieves, it's a similar thing. They're just persistent in the world all the time. If you want to swim, you have to swim with sharks.
But did you run into? Oh god.
Dun, 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 dun.
One of the things is how the sharks grab onto like a tile of your raft, and you have to go and be like, get off.
Yeah.
And then
Got
one will
it.
grab another end of it, and it's like managing. that. I
Yeah,
thought
so that's
was
the other
really
thing is you
cool.
kind of want to put all your important stuff like close to the middle because
Yeah.
the sharks come for the side of the...
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. I definitely want to like go back in and sort of expand out our raft. And I think it's an interesting spin in the survival genre. It wasn't super expensive and it's fun to play in co-op.
I'm curious to see how far they've come since I played it for the
And
first
Gus,
time.
if you would like to play the game...
If you'd have me on
Hey.
your raft.
Yes, I would. You're most welcome.
I love how basically every week at this show we organize a co-op session that never eventually.
I just invite myself to games.
Yeah,
never turn up.
Peter Burns, you and I have been exploring animals in the wild.
We have been. We've both been playing Pokemon Snap.
Yep.
Pokemon Snap. New Pokemon Snap. I can't stop saying it like that now. It's stuck in my mouth. Obviously, I've been talking about this for a while because I was excited about it coming out. I loved the 64 version of Pokemon Snap. I never actually owned it. I just played it a lot at friends' houses. It was one of those things you just like do a couple runs of a level and stuff. And I think this is brilliant. This is a brilliant modernization of it. It's still a very basic game.
I love how you're like, I'm like, there's this cool survival game where you build a raft with your friends and you've got to
This is
like
Pokemon
make, and you're just like, that game's really dumb. And then like your next game is you take photos of fucking animals that don't exist.
Not even, yeah.
That don't exist. That was the killer. That was where she just cucked the shit out of you.
In this level, Steph and I are going to float past.
fantasy stuff for?
Stepping on a float past on a raft going, fuck, man. And Pete's just going to take him from it.
For people who know what to expect from the series, it's great.
Look at the squirrel, it's just staring at
imagine-
you.
I imagine Nick will have the basic premise is that you
It doesn't want your apples, Peter. It doesn't want them.
they're fluff fruit.
This is what happened when I tried to push Metopia last week. Everyone
They're
shouted on me,
fruit.
and now we're like, no, this is a terrible game. No, go on,
Metopia
please.
is a dumb game. This is a simple game, but it is effective at what it is, being very simple. It's basically for like below 7 is the age demographic of this game.
Yeah.
Or people who love Pokemon who would play it no matter what. You're on rails. You take photos. The world most worlds have a day and night, or multiple different areas in the one biome, and you level up each track as well. So then when you level up a track, there's slight variation, and you can choose which one you want to go in to get the best photo of the Pokemon that you're after. One thing I don't remember from the original is that there are challenges, which are basically like the driving feature of it, in that when you unlock a level, one of the other photographers or scientists back at base goes like, I'd love to see you get a photo that looks, I got this photo just after some action happened. And if you go back to where that happened, you might be able to get a better shot of this because...
So it's almost like the game is on rails?
The game is on rails, yeah.
Right, so it's kind of like you're in a theme park ride and you're taking as many happy snaps as you can and you're trying to get like the best action moment.
It's not kind of like that, Steph.
It's literally
That's the design document.
Got
That's
it.
all it is. And they give you a big bag of apples and stuff.
And so the apples
Throw them
that
at the kid dressed up as Goofy.
that you were like willfully hurling at these creatures, are they supposed to like respond
the other way that the game
positively
works
to
is that
those?
like you have a Pokedex style thing like you do in Pokemon, and the Pokemon can perform different poses, each at like a different star rating. So you'll get a 1-star photo, and it could be the best 1-star photo, but it wasn't doing an interesting pose. It was just a nice shot of a Pokemon. So by throwing an apple at it, or by throwing the unlockable individual world kind of like party mode thing, special thing, they'll do a different pose. Like this one here does a backflip because I did it with that purple thing.
Yeah.
It did a backflip. Or loop-de-loop, and then I can go like, okay, cool, that's a level 3 pose from that Pokemon. And that's how
I
you
assume
feet
every
fill out the
pose you
book.
get is either the creature natural
Good stuff.
or the creature doing this.
Yeah.
I just feel like in the-
That's a 2-star pose. Hitting
the 10
hitting a
years
Pokemon
we've-
in the head with an apple is a 2-star pose.
Totally.
In the 10 years we've been together, I feel like I know you, and then I hear you talk about this game, and I feel like I don't know you at all.
but I get it because
Who are you?
Because Pete doesn't like this game. Baby Pete likes this.
Yeah.
Sure.
The kid inside Pete who grew up with Pokemon loves it in the same way that my son adores this game. And I look at it and I go,
he should.
I can see why he loves it. I see, and I think, and I was like, this is a really bad game. And then I went, no, that's not right. You're right. It's a very simple game.
Yeah.
When I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's just so much missed potential here. Is what I saw of like. God, for a game about photography,
Could be so much more
all you could do is zoom.
Yeah.
Like you could, and thinking about like this looks basically just like the game that came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I should be able to wander around this level and take really interesting photos and engage with it, blah, 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 but all that stuff. But I then sat down and played this with Banjo, and he was just like freaking out every time a new animal was coming up, and he's like, "Picture, it looked at us," and just like, and he was like, "What's that?" And I'm going, "It's a flagonu," and he goes, "What's that one?" I go, "That's a willy wampa." And it's just like,
Poor kid can't read, and you're just making him up.
and in 20 years' time, when they release the 3rd Pokemon Snap,
Yeah.
Banjo, who will be a sophisticated game, nuanced, level, MOBA
He'll be
shit,
playing-
will be like,
He'll put down Nosia 4 and
totally. He'll be like, I want to throw a rock melon at an animal's head.
When we were young.
And like,
I
it's
did.
very,
I
very
did
pretty
make
as well.
Peter watch
It
the
is
first
good,
episode of Spellbinder on Netflix the other day,
God.
so I feel like
Takes me back.
that's.
I've literally erased that from my memory. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Remember when I was
Like a
making you
raft
watch
trip
that
with friends.
weird children's show from the 90s?
Oh, yes, that was bad.
yeah.
But it was of its time. That's fine.
Like, how great is it that there is a game being made for kids up to 7? Like,
I actually, that's a real thing that
Totally.
you go like, games for kids, like young kids, just kind of don't exist.
Or
And
if
when
they
they do,
do,
they're
they're
just like
bad.
trash iPad stuff. And this is something that like he is so excited to boot up, 20 minutes of Pokemon and just go find these new animals. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm having a blast with him with it.
Yeah, and as an adult playing it, there are things to be frustrated by, like from a gameplay mechanic thing, like someone will give you one of those challenges after you've already taken that photo.
Yeah, right.
And then you have to go and take that photo again. You can only get one photo of each Pokemon rated on every trip, which encourages you to do more trips, but it's like, that's a good 1-star photo, and that's a good 4-star photo, or that's 3-star photo, is that challenge? And it's like, well, I guess I'll just do the challenge one, because that feels like
Totally.
the best progression in
Yeah.
the game. So
Or
it's like you're making
the-
decisions like that
The
all
fact
the
that the game doesn't differentiate between 2 Pokemon in one photo. So
Yeah.
you take a picture, and if there's 2 Pokemon in there, whichever one you kind of like
was most centered.
centered,
Yeah.
that's the one where it's like, that's a picture of a Pikachu
Willy
as
Wonka.
opposed to a Willy Wampa. And
Yeah.
you go, but this is, and then they're like, you don't get any points for the second animal. I'm like, this is clearly the best fucking photo you've ever seen of this animal ever. How are you not giving me points for
Yeah.
this?
Like,
you have to
it's-
pretty,
It's dabbing behind Pikachu.
There's no pre-coded element of artistic, you know.
No, there's
It's very technical and like,
Yeah.
is it in frame and as closely zoomed in as you could possibly get?
basically, yeah. Like you can take photos like this, and it's like it was big enough in frame, even though there's foliage in front of it. It's like a
Yeah,
good
right.
photo. Composition obviously is not a thing that it is judging.
Yeah.
It is in a way in pose, size,
Sure.
and like whatever. But it's like if it's center of frame, then you've taken the good photo.
Yeah,
is
right.
its idea of like you did it.
If you're using kind of the rule of thirds, it doesn't care.
Yeah, well,
Nick's grown-up version of this is him in the game standing in a like dark room for 5 hours, just being like, storming into there, like slamming down the photos, being, "What do you mean you didn't like these ones?"
I will say I'm probably getting a bit of the joy that Banjo gets in that, like, at least I'm familiar with most of the Pokemon that pop up, and I'm like, oh cool, this one appeared in this run. That's at least there's enough, like, there's a very slow drip feed, but there is a drip feed of progression that I feel like is pretty effective. I'm always unlocking a new level, like I'm always seeing a new Pokemon. I'm always being given the next tool to be able to engage with the Pokemon in a different way. So I think it's like, I think it's maybe not perfect, but it is a very simple thing that they've executed really well.
Yeah.
Can I ask a serious Pokemon question? Considering there have been so many new Pokemon games since the first one of these came out, even though you're kind of across more Pokemon, are you still playing it going, I don't recognize a lot of them?
Yeah, not a lot of them. I recognize most of them, I think.
Okay.
But it's like every now and then there'll be one that'll be like, I don't know that I've seen that before.
Sure.
Or I have seen it and have forgotten.
Because the original
But,
came out like just after kind of like red, blue, and yellow or whatever it was, and like there was pretty much your generation 1 of Pokemon. And
The OG Pokemon, yeah.
So I imagine for people coming back to this, there'll be a lot of keychain and chandelier Pokemons that are like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Okay.
The funny thing that I'm encountering with it is that it's kind of hard to explain the concept of fictional animals to a child.
Yeah.
Because everything they see, they just think kind of exists. And so we're going through Pokemon and he sees like a Bidoof.
Yep.
And he goes, look at that. What's that? And I go, and the name comes up and I go, that's a Bidoof. And he goes, no, that's a beaver. And I go, no, that's a Bidoof. And he goes, no, it has long front teeth and it collects wood in the water. It's
Yeah.
a beaver. And I'm like, no, it's a Bidoof.
Photos of a toucan, which pretty much looked 90% like a toucan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, you'd be in a bit of a different.
Bidoof, 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 whatever it's
I
called,
call it Bidoof.
But
If you jump to the middle of the clip where I was like in menus and stuff, just to show a bit of like, you can go and after a run reframe and stuff like that.
Cool.
And so that stuff's it.
there are
Please
some
please
filters
finish
and
your
that sort of thing.
yeah.
Oh no! But I was all I was saying is like
I have a Bidoof to show is all I'm-
It's setting his education back because now he's going to go to school and the teacher would be like, "That's a beaver," and he'll go, I think you'll find it's a Bidoof."
So in the rankings here, you can check out like when you're friends with people. You obviously like it's not the most important part of the game because it's just like about taking photos, but you can upload ones that you like to the internet and people can rank them and stuff like
cool.
that. And it's easy to access your friends list one. And here's like some of the Pocketeers that I'm mates with on the Switch. And like Multifish here has like 524 friend medals given to him by the internet. Because you can see everyone's stuff, and it's like, look, that's a great shot of a Magic
great
Cup.
photo.
That's a beautiful shot of a
I guess
Magic
that's
Cup.
where the taking good photo and getting good, composition and
Yeah.
like a good eye for it plays
Yeah.
into it later on.
And then
Your adoring public.
Is it
Multifish has grown. Blob is a sticker fiend
Oh, yeah.
who just like all of her shots are like just have all the stickers and frames and stuff. Because I think maybe Banjo would have a lot of fun in there as well. Like
Totally.
just putting crap all over your photos, and you can do that to your heart's content. And as you get those challenges, that's where you're unlocking stickers and stuff to put over your pictures.
I think it's hitting its target demographic like spot on.
Me too. And on Bidoof, I think my most rated photo is DJ Bidoof Doof, who's
Holy
is
shit.
doing some skits mix.
That's a beaver.
He's about to break into a rap. Gus,
How much more
One of
time do
your
we
own.
give this game than Metopia? I mean, shit stickers on photos.
no one likes me's. But heaps of people like Pokemon.
In 20 years' time, there will be
there will be. Yeah,
My son will be playing Miitopia.
And you can do arty stuff like that, like
That's cool. That is cool.
or comic-y book stuff. There's some fun stuff to play around with.
Yeah, it's cute. It's cute. So I saw someone in the chat say that their mum had 600 hours in Animal Crossing, so maybe it was time to give her a new game.
I think this could be it.
Or
Cathartic.
you could give your mum a firm handshake.
You could give your mum a firm handshake when you take her out to dinner, as Gus recommended.
It's a good tip.
The other week.
How to start a good dinner.
This I saw on itch.io, and I was like,
Yes.
okay. And don't skip it all, Will, because I don't want to. It's a 5-minute game. It's kind of a pay what you want for it, and it's just an absurdist thing that's fun to walk around in, and it's nice to like. Because I just finished Resident Evil. And I was like, I'm gonna go to itch.io and find something stupid to just like unwind on.
Is this multiplayer? Like, are you playing with someone else?
No. You shake their hand and they follow you.
Right.
And so like, and this is just a level that goes for however long this level goes for of walking around.
Oh my god, I love it.
Meeting new people to.
I love the preemptive.
Like,
But it's the same person every time.
The animations are so adorable. It's like they amp up.
See, this is my Pokemon.
Yeah.
I also like that
his hand coming up. He's like primed, and there it is.
The challenge thus far, from what we've seen, is to shake the hands of people, but don't mistake them for houseplants. No, hang on.
Yeah.
Cactus?
This is awesome. I love it.
So yeah, I would like. There's not any point in showing any more of this, except that like there's a few levels, and they all have kind of a different objective, and it's funny to encounter the objectives of each level.
I love it.
So yeah, if you're looking for someone to kill 5 minutes on, throw $2 this dev's way, and you've got a blast on your hands.
Fantastic.
And if you have more than 2 minutes, but less than 2 hours, I can recommend a video game that I played this week called Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
Interesting.
Which is the best name for a video game ever.
Pretty good.
Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is it is a game about literally what it says on the tin. You play as Turnip Boy, and the first thing you do is get a tax bill in the game, and then you rip it up. It's the only option you have. You can read it, and then you rip it up. He then goes around and needs to like basically pay off his debt to the mayor, Mayor Onion.
Is this Animal Crossing?
It's like a really fucking funny Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
Right.
cool.
You then need to pay off your debt to Mayor Onion, who is messed up. Mayor Onion is running some shit.
Yeah. He looks dodgy
Look at
as
that.
fuck.
That's beautiful.
It is beautiful. So it's like
Oh, looks like Stardew.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's very Zelda-y because you end up like you get a sword and you go around and you do these sort of quests. It is so funny.
The confirmation button was okay.
Yeah, it is so funny.
Yeah, cool.
He rips up the tax bill. Any piece of paper he encounters that has the word tax on it, he rips up. So you find receipts, and then the receipt is just that, but then in red, in bold, down the bottom, it says tax, like 0.3%, and he rips it up. At one point, I love, you meet the blueberry, and the blueberry is just an idiot. At one point, I encountered another blueberry or a strawberry or something, and they were like living with a snail. So the snails, all the enemies in this game, you come across, you go into this first little biome thing, and there's these snails there, and there's a sign there saying, "Warning. Look out for snails. They're vegetarian because you're a turnip. They're dangerous." And then there's a snail that lives with this like piece of fruit, and the piece of fruit's like, "Jerry is really pissing me off because he's behind on his rent and he's refusing to pay me. I don't know if you can help me out." And then you walk up to Jerry and you stab him and the snail, and he dies. And then he sort of blows up in a puff of smoke. And then there's all this money there, and you pick it up, and it just said, the money's there, and it just said Jerry was going to pay his rent. And then you go back to the fruit, and you're like, and he's like, "Did you just stab Jerry?" And then there was also this little thing. where you're wandering around, you pick up like a watering can, which the two big ways that you interact with the world are a watering can and the sword. So you find them lying around, and you pick up the watering can, then you go pick up the sword, and then you go to the next level and you're wandering through, and there's this trophy there, and it's sort of like shaking and glinting in the same way as like the sword the other two pickups have. And then you walk up and you pick up the trophy, and it comes, and he holds it up in the same way in the power pose as he does the sword, and the tooltip that comes up with it says reward the players so they stay engaged. But then, so you basically wander around. You take on these little quests in the town to, like, at no point are you trying to pay back your tax because everyone keeps telling you you should have paid your tax and you just blank them. And it's just super fun. It's 2 hours long.
Oh, right. So right to the end kind of thing.
Yeah. And my only knock against it is that it's not very fun to do the fighting. The sword, just the sword mechanic it's much shorter than you think it will be, and it has that thing of like kind of like old school Zelda, where as soon as you start an attack, you stop. So you go walking towards an enemy, you go to attack, but you actually stop short, and so that's my only quibble with it. It's one of the funnier games I've played in a long time, and is just like, it's just such a blast. And every character you can talk to, and every character has like some weird backstory, some really strong personality. So yeah, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is like $25 on Steam.
Good as a short little game too, because obviously like a couple of fun ideas, but not going, I can stretch this into a huge fetch quest game. Or something that outstays its welcome.
Yeah. And it's a really great mix of like sweet things, or like that character up there that's shaking a stool above her head. Was babysitting a baby carrot and then lost it because it sat down on the stool. So it is refusing to put the stool down now, so that it can't, like, because it's like me putting the stool down is what lost the baby carrot. And then somewhere else you go find the baby carrot and then you bring it back. And then every time you encounter that character afterwards, they've given you the stool and now they're just holding the baby carrot above their head. Just shit like that that's really, really fun. So yeah.
But I stand by like, if it's a fun little flash in the pan kind of thing versus going crazy, and then like come up with another idea for another game.
Totally, and it's just so it's a real blast. So I recommend it if you're looking for 2 hours to kill.
Turnip Boy
commits tax evasion.
Right.
Yeah. Not fraud, evasion. He just uses to pay it.
Pays child support or something. That's the next one.
That's the next one. Yeah. It's a much darker game.
Oh god.
All right, we're going to be back with something much darker as well after this break. So I just want to make something for sure, because they gave us these MV7 mics, and like they're not just good for talking, but they're good for singing stuff. So I thought we could just do something fun together, like you and I. And I figured that's fine, because you want to do it?
For sure.
For sure? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're already getting in the spirit. Okay, so you sing the blue lines, and I'll sing the red lines, okay? So, all right?
Sure.
Okay. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I wanna really, really, really want to get a Shaw mic. I hate you.
I'm just going to go and listen to the recording. You can't hide from me. For sure.
When you know it's time to mix business with bizness. Ponk. When you play 7 instruments, each one like the love child of Yo-Yo Ma and Santana. Ponk. When you're 1K from having a really problematic logo. Ponk. A fragrance for men. Because you deserve to smell like a tin whistle.
On the wide. Welcome back, everybody, to Back Pocket. Thank you very much to SlowPonk, Rattlesnakes, and Jacob Bates for your wonderful words and Ed. And thank you very much to Shaw for providing these wonderful microphones. Really? He ran down the hallway to do a poo, and now he can't talk.
I mean, that'd be amazing if I managed to.
That's true. That would have been the fastest poo in the
That would
world
have been the
if
fastest.
he'd pooped.
No, it was not that, but I did run a very short distance, and I'm like, oh my god, how am I out of breath from that? Took
Gus-
assorted creams.
Most of the time that Gus is out of breath, it's because he's been talking nonstop. Like I'll like meet up with him when we're walking to the office or something, and he'll go blah 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 blah, blah, and we get to the bottom of the elevator, and he'll be like.
Also, you didn't take into account that I was talking the whole way.
Yeah, that's right.
Gave myself a motivational.
Before we get to the next part of the show, we just want to do a quick check-in on the fantasy draft because obviously Resident Evil Village came out, and we wanted to, just get the critic opinion, I suppose, on that. Obviously, we'll lock in the score next week after it's been out for a full week, as is the tradition. And when I say tradition, I mean kind of just how we do this. But Steph, this was your game.
It sure was.
Feeling comfortable about this one?
I am.
Pete, give us the lead in so we've got the blood pumping for the fantasy league.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we do.
The
have
thing.
that
Always
thing.
miss
got
it.
that
We always
thing.
forget
got
it.
that
Sorry,
thing.
yeah,
We
because
got
it's always
that
like a
thing.
little
Get ready for
bit
the
thing.
biggest anticlimax ever.
Do it.
And then straight down.
Yeah, can we add 10 times more music to that?
Yeah, right.
Let's
Fix that.
the next time this comes up, Will, I really want you to have worked your magic. And I want you to have done a 2.5 minute remix. Like I need something.
Rap. It's going to be a rap.
Resident Evil Village. Eurogamer says Capcom's follow-up to its first-person Resi reinvention is a fantastic horror romp for its first half at least.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
IGN said Resident Evil Village is a genuinely engrossing and increasingly combat-heavy continuation of the Ethan Winters story, which is almost just like the back of the box description of the game. PC Games says a grimly beautiful collection of killer horror set pieces with some of the most memorably grotesque enemies in Resi history. And Games Radar says a strong start and okay finish makes this average out as decent, but not an amazing installment. But it's
Do I write for that outlet? Oh my god.
I'm going to guess like mid-80s.
It's coming in at a strong 84.
That's pretty good. That's still pretty good.
88 and 84, the
That's a
two
strong start.
scores. That is a great start for someone who will get no more points this year.
Totally true. I don't think anything else.
Now,
on
12
my
minutes is
list.
going to make it. You're fine with 12 minutes.
You really think
12
so?
minutes
Yep.
will be good.
Yeah,
12
yeah.
minutes will be good.
What's it like to get points?
Will we find out next who it's going to? I think it's going to be me, right? Rift Apart in June?
Yep.
It's me.
Yep. Back for Blood
Yep.
delayed.
Yep.
Skywalker Saga delayed. Total Warhammer has a thing next week, like a big stream about Total Warhammer. So
Yeah, right.
that must be coming up in the next couple of months.
Yeah, because they haven't got a
Like
confirmed
June?
release date yet.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Maybe Horizon will come out this year. It'll just come out before Christmas.
You say that every time, basically, literally that exact sentence, saying it isn't going to make it happen.
Damn it.
Maybe Sons of the Forest will be out just in time. Everyone's like, what?
Every kid's like, please, please. So that's where the Back Pocket Fantasy Draft is standing at the moment. Steph is the one to beat. and it's a little unfair because she's had 2 games come out, but
not
2
unfair,
great
that's
picks.
how the game works.
Great picks. great picks.
Very good.
Strong start. It's exactly what you want. And we'll see that again with an amazing new remixed theme in June for Ratchet and Clank. All right. Speaking of great themes, hit it, Peter.
Oh, God.
5 years for what you did. Do not forget what you did. Yes. No.
Stick with the OG.
You,
The ringtone version.
Totally. You think it's a troll, but it's not. We're trolling you because the lists are back, motherfuckers.
5 years for what you did. Do not forget what
Oh,
you
now
did.
he's got it back in his system.
I have a right to play it now.
Oh, God.
You can't stop me, you two.
I forget that was actually created for a segment that we
We
do
actually
on this
forgot
show.
that we were like, how long ago did we actually do one of these? And we've only done
2. We
and only done one.
the best animal in a video game.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie, which I can't believe. Like, I believe won. I can't believe it was so contentious. Like, yeah, great.
The only
And then the controller one, which everyone got really pissed off
But the
about.
controller one was the first one to use that title card and
Exactly.
song.
Yeah.
You would think we've
Because
done
the first one
50
also
lists.
had Russell Crowe from Beautiful Mind.
Yep.
This
That's
has been
right.
a spiraling look
long
into
con.
the weird mind of Angus.
But this is only the
that ended up with a rap.
Yeah, this is only the second time we've ever used that sting correctly.
And now it's a
and
third.
just to be-
5 years for what you did. Do not forget what you
Are the
did.
mics live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
No.
Grab your torches and pitchforks, guys. Yep.
Just to be clear, the origin of that was that, like,
Forget what you did.
to come up with a title.
I did not care for the rap as much.
The rap was not as good as that.
To come up with a title card for a segment that involves like us choosing items to put on a list, Gus was like trying to find an image that fit that, and he chose Russell Crowe working out equations in A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it and being like, what is that?
Well, Schindler would have been poor taste.
It was the first draft was a really kind of monochrome image with Russell Crowe in a big red jacket. That's a Schindler's List.
I was gonna say,
Russell Crowe.
I was gonna say we could have always, we could have had one more controller. We could have had one more.
I
then-
like
but
the
then-
fact that I say this stuff and you two laugh, and Steph was just like, fuck you, dude.
And then it evolved to this like Les Mis thing, and I was like, "What is this?" And you were like, "Because it's because of the Russell Crowe image the first time." And I was like, "But that didn't make sense either." And he's like, "I know."
You're in the rap, questioning the rap and the meme.
That's how great art works. So before we get to the theme of this list, of course, this segment is brought to you by Nick Belling, aka Nicrotex, or Nicrotex, aka Nick Belling, depending on how you want to phrase it.
I hate to ask, was he on?
to play this one out, mate.
You got him lined up?
I was, well, to take the time, I wasn't sure. Was he on the card? And I know the only way to
I think he
test
was.
that-
Was he on the card, Pete?
Was he on the card? Yeah, he's on the pickpocket card. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Oh,
Pete? Was he on
No,
the card?
that's good, good to know.
He's on
Good
the
to know. Move on.
Gus gave you an opening to play the video.
Sorry, what?
It wasn't an opening. I just
That's all
can't
that
believe
was.
He didn't take it.
Okay, so shut up. We need to focus. This segment is brought to you by Nicrotex, and it ties in to the theme of this week's list. Nicrotex tweeted out a couple of days ago that he's about to start streaming Resident Evil Village, and he put together a little trailer for his upcoming stream. Let's take a look.
I just get nervous every time you put that button.
So,
We're gonna cover his
Resident
face.
Evil 7. The reason
His
we're
little
gonna play
face.
Resident Evil 7 is because
We'll
I'm
full
old
screen
enough
it.
to
Full
play
screen it.
I played it for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, so he played 7.
And then I did a big poopy in my pants.
That wasn't even a scary bit. She was in the
Jesus.
car.
Oh god, I just wasted a bullet.
And Nicrotex fitting in well with us
Look at
in a
his
black t-shirt.
Stupid face.
I did a lot of that in that game. So did he.
so good. It's such a good card. Love the Boam.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So much better.
Good face.
something that's not this game.
Awesome.
There you go.
Beautiful work. So we saw that and we were like, that's basically what Will does, and we put all the stuff that Will makes in the show, so we may as well put that in as well. So well done, Nicrotex. We look forward to seeing your stream of that game.
Maybe people could go and like watch you stream the game and Nicrotex as well, and just see the contrasting emotions that come forth when you guys play the game.
It's just two guys shrieking.
That's
what. So today's list in celebration of Resident Evil, but really in celebration of Nicrotex, it is the best zombies in a video game. As always, we have 10 nominees. We're going to cut 5 of them. Dead.
brutally.
Headshot. We're going to then order the remaining 5, and that is the definitive list of the best zombies in video games. Does anyone have any questions on clarity?
Massive amounts. What means best? Are we talking best by design? Are we saying they would be the best ones at being zombies, and therefore
Do they have to be
survive?
classic zombies or any undead?
Exactly.
I think what we've established with this list format is that it's kind of like a combination of like critically acclaimed and your favorite.
Yeah.
And you kind of mesh those two ideas together.
And then yell.
Yeah, I would say this is more which one... Is it which one would you want to be killed by?
Yeah.
Or which one would you prefer to go up against?
Yeah, they're two very different ones. And
They're
can I just
so
say-
different.
I know!
That's
I think they're the best
Steph
from
works really
a
hard to-
game design and gameplay perspective.
Sure.
You're
That's
saying Steph worked
my
really hard to
Steph
clarify.
worked really hard to clarify
Yeah.
the list, which was, famously from the first couple of these, you totally correctly were like, what the hell is the...
What are the rules,
What are
man?
the rules here?
Yeah.
What's the
you've
criteria?
gone- exactly. And you've been like, here are some rules. Nick has just fucking curveballed us now with being like, do you want to be it? Do you want to kill it?
No, ignore what he said
Sure.
because that's bullshit.
eat it.
Because if it's like, oh, which one would I want to go up against, then I'm going to choose like the weakest, shittiest ones, right?
see-
And then I don't want them to be at the top of the list because
Okay.
it's the list about ranking things, and we're ranking stuff because we like have fond memories.
Shall
of
we have a
these.
look at the list?
Let's rank this list. So we've got 10 zombies. We need to get rid of 5 of them. The zombies are, we've got the walkers from The Walking Dead, the infected from Left 4 Dead, the T/C virus zombies from the Resident Evil series, the zombies from Plants vs. Zombies,
Hell yeah.
the clickers from The Last of Us, the biters from...
Dying Light.
Dying
Well
Light,
done.
the one we always forget. Nazi zombies from Call of Duty Zombies. Resort zombies from Dead Island. Necromorphs from Dead Space. And Freakers from Days Gone.
Gone.
And I think what we've really learned is we need more creative titles for zombie games.
Even
The
The Last
Dead
of Us catches
or
you
Dirt.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, looking at the list, they've come up with different ways of saying the same thing
true.
creatively. So
Yeah.
Well, to
I
add to
love
what-
in the Walking Dead universe, every different group of like survivors they run into has a different name for. Walkers is just the name that the main group of survivors has for them, but other people have different names for them. Which
that is cool.
I also, people have already pointed out a flaw in this list, which we have pre-thought. Technically, a couple of these are not like zombies in the traditional sense.
As in like reanimated dead.
Yeah, well,
Or, like, the
reanimated dead
cordyceps
through
virus
a
from-
bite from another zombie.
Yeah.
Like the infected is a virus. The necromorphs is like reanimating a corpse, but not necessarily because you got bit by something.
The resort zombies just were on holiday.
They were just on holiday. They've been there too long.
The Nazis just followed the wrong.
They're just following orders, man.
Oh, and you don't laugh at the Schindler joke, Will. But we're going more with the idea of like. Holistically, you would kind of go, oh yeah, that's like a zombie because it's
Yeah.
like a dead person that came back to life in some way.
That's part of the discourse around zombies is discussing the rules and how they function, that kind of thing. The only thing I would add is that, yes, to your criteria of would you want to be bitten by one, would you want to go up against one in a fight, is these are all video game zombies. So do we weigh in the idea of how much fun they are to dispose of in video games? Because that's kind of...
Absolutely.
Yeah,
big part
it's
of it.
everything.
That's
It's
my
everything.
criteria.
I think that's
my-
good.
where I'm
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a fondness for some of them, and I can't really say why, but it's based around the experience and engagement I had with killing.
And I bet that the first one that we all agree goes is the biters from the game that we can't remember from Dying Light. Is what I would cut.
I think it can totally go, but I would say that they are fun to encounter because they're fast.
Yeah.
At least
They are.
But is that only fun because it's parkour, not because they're fast zombies?
But they
Yeah, they're pretty
parkour around
forgettable.
you, don't
They're
they?
pretty forgettable. But yes, they're fast. It's like I Am Legend kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
From memory, the cool thing about that game is as well was the whole like when night falls, they all get faster and they all chase you in like
That's
a
true.
mob.
That's true.
Which I don't think was as fun as it looked in the trailers. Again, I'm more than happy to lose them because they're forgettable. The game.
Big on biters.
And am I right in saying that the next Dying Light is just still in like limbo?
Yeah, it's still in development.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
said they
Development
announced
limbo.
it too early.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
It's gone.
That's gone.
Well,
It's
then,
gone.
because Nick suggested that one, I'm just going to go down the line and throw one. I reckon we all just have to get rid of Freakers. Not just because the name was shit, but Days Gone tried its hand at the zombie thing, and then they tried to do the thing where they're not zombies. They all have unique names, and they just tried too hard. A lot of that game tried too hard.
I am okay with this. The only thing I'll give in its defense is I liked the fact that there were like tons of them, and it had that
Pure zombie feel.
What's the what?
I said a pure zombie feel.
Yeah,
Like,
and that sort of 28 days later feel
Yeah,
where they're
yeah,
just
but
like
they just run at
running
you.
after you on a hill,
Yeah.
and you're just like, "Fuck, I've
Yeah,
got to get
yeah,
to my
yeah.
chopper."
Yeah, that was
That's
cool.
me being a biker.
I think my favorite.
You
version-
said a very Australian for a biker.
Very.
That you sound like you
I
could have
can't do
been in.
accents. You've
in-
seen the dating shows.
I'd say the dead, not that they're in there. The Dead Rising mobs were my favorite, which was the mall ones. Which
Yeah,
was
that's
just you
true.
looked at a mob and went, "Oh my god!"
They
there's
were
so
just
many.
like fodder. You're right that these are at least intimidatingly fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
they're
they're gone.
Steph,
Kill one.
don't do it. You always kill my favorite. Don't do it, Steph.
I don't know
You can do it.
which one I would put next.
I mean, build your little like favorite 5 and then see what's left. I guess.
Yeah, but like
Pete?
you guys are gonna freak out
What
when
is
I
it?
Say it. Say
What
it.
is
Say
it?
it.
Say it.
You
Just
gotta
say it. Just
No,
say it.
no, I'm.
You have to say it.
Hang on, let
That's
me.
how this works.
Resort zombies can go. Cool idea.
I like
Hey,
the
it's
resort
Pete's turn.
zombies.
It's her turn.
I like them because I like that they're all just like dressed for like
I like that
a
too.
funny holiday.
I like the fact that you kind of like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
you bought a timeshare. You look great in the bikini.
They came
Yeah.
here for a good time. They had eskies. They had
So
like
true. I don't like being turned on by a zombie. That's very true. There's just lots of fit buds running
Yeah,
around.
How'd you slip down to get in the bikini?
Oh yeah, right.
no. I like that they're a zombie that's very like location specific.
Yeah.
I would say the same.
So do I.
I would say the same about the Nazi zombies. I like that that's like it's fun to kill them because they're Nazis and it's fun to kill them
Yep.
because they're
Hey,
zombies.
Nick, sudden
Can I also
COD
just say
nerd.
on the
Desperate for him.
on the resort zombies, I do remember the combat in that and you took limbs off, heads off. Like it was a very cool, like overly convoluted way to kill a zombie that we hadn't really done in games. So again, just adding to the resort zombies sort of vote there, but to get rid of one.
I never really played that much Dead Space, but I don't know if you guys are like super into the
they're
necromorphs.
So good.
They're good.
I guess the next one I would choose maybe is the Walkers from the Walking Dead games.
Yep, they're standard zombies.
Because they
Yeah.
just there's
Classic
nothing
fan.
like super interesting about them.
Yeah,
Agreed.
You could
Agreed.
argue they're the
Interesting thing
OG,
about-
but that's boring.
They are OG
Yeah.
zombies,
Yeah.
but they're Walking Dead's always just about people.
Did they do
not zombies.
anything interesting by the end? No, they didn't work out that they were all working together. They didn't work out that
They worked out. They worked out in.
Oh, they worked out the
Walking
people-
Dead lore. It's like it doesn't matter how you die, you come back a zombie.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
that's right. And
Everyone,
that was cool.
everyone is a zombie already.
Everyone
Yeah,
has
it's
the
not
virus
dead yet.
inside them.
That's less about the zombies themselves and
Yeah.
more about
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
Get rid of,
so-
get rid of the walkers.
They
That's
go
it.
on.
Get rid of the walkers.
Pete,
means
How
it's now
we're looking right
Pete's
now. Look,
turn.
yeah, I hear that they're dressed cool.
Wow.
But I got to get rid of resort zombies. They're just not they're not impacting enough as a gameplay
There
thing.
it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
We tried.
Okay, yep. We'll always be turned on in our heart.
I guess what I like about those is that it's just like, you know, when you walk into a section of a game and you're like, what happened here? I like seeing that the way that they're dressed, and I'm like, I see that this is like a group of people that were here having a party and they're wearing party.
You guys were all at a barbecue.
Yeah,
I know we're moving this down to the 5 that we might look at a little more in depth, but if there was any footage of the zombies in Dead Island, I'm just curious to remind myself of how they played. They're gone. It's okay. But if we had anything to look at, that might help jog Peter back to bring them in. Probably not going to happen.
It's gone.
No, they're gone.
That,
Let's see
that
it
layer
anyway.
has been switched off.
Let's see it anyway.
Does Will
Let's
have
see it
Yell out if you
anyway.
don't.
He's scrubbing
Scrubbing through. He's
Trying to find the
a good bit.
sexiest
Trying
of
to
the
find a good
resorts. And I respect that.
So then we need to cut one more, and
It's going to be unanimous.
bit. Boo! Everyone likes holiday zombies.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is it,
see? Does Chat get to pull one?
No, because we know what happens when Chat gets.
We know what happens when
hate
Chat.
when they
It's already-
get a vote.
It's too chaotic already.
No. I really love the necromorphs. I know they're like more space beast than a zombie.
They're what I want to get
They
rid
just-
of.
Really?
I only played a bit of the first Dead Space, and I found them just a bit like they were aliens. They were not like they were creatures.
They were made out of limbs of humans.
They're like Event Horizon stuff.
Yeah,
Dude. It's
they were
very
so
cool.
cool.
It's very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
And I think we all agree that Plants vs. Zombie has to stay.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cute and it's like
I mean, we like all the ones here.
We have to keep
It's a
Nazi
classic
zombies because if we get rid of Nazi zombies, we're saying that we don't think Nazis deserve to be shot.
Agreed.
So that's like, I don't want to be like pinned to that.
I mean,
That's
I
a fair
guess
point.
if
That's
we
a fair
got rid
point.
of OG zombies from Walking Dead, the T and C virus Resi zombies are not.
Does that mean we don't
interesting.
have representation of like classic zombie?
Well, that's what.
Or
that's
is that what the
PvZ
Plants vs.
zombie is.
Zombie
Yeah.
is?
yeah, that is
He's
the
a-
most classic zombie if ever I saw
and
one.
in Plants vs Zombies, the zombies are in different outfits throughout the game.
There's a
as
lot
well.
of range of like.
I love their
got-
personalities.
range.
Okay, before we cut that, we haven't really said anything about Left 4 Dead, The Infected.
I think we all really
Oh,
like.
man, that was
Yeah.
like the first zombie game I ever played,
Yeah.
really.
And it was the first time you're like, oh, zombies can be more than just mindless things. It's like there's classes of zombies.
It was
and-
horrifying, like hearing the
Wasn't the first
witch,
time,
and it was like whenever you get vomited on by one of those boomer
Yeah,
things,
or
it was
the
awful.
tongue.
The
coming out.
smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sounds and the
Which
super
Gus just
infected
gave us a
stuff
bit
were
of-
really cool.
Well, I was going to say, like, these other categories, all have variations of. Like, we're even going to cover clickers, to which, like, the most recent game, and maybe one did, but they had, like, explodey ones. And
The
like,
clickers are probably are my favorite because I remember when I saw when they sort of talked about the cordyceps virus, and I remember I had already seen the documentary where they talked about
Ants got head.
how this fungus infected the heads of ants and controlled their brain, leading them to like go and kill themselves. And it was just like,
they
then you would
climb to
see
the tops. They climb to the top of the tree so that the sprout that comes out of their head can get above the forest. Or, like, yeah, that's the logic of why they
it was crazy. And then you would see the footage of it exploding out of this poor ant's head while it's still alive. And it's like, if that can affect the brain of an ant, then what's to stop it infecting the brain of a human? Like, it feels like it's something that could actually happen. And then when you see it, like, explored in the video games, like, so well, oh my God, that was horrifying. I had nightmares about that.
The only thing I would say about the clickers, just to play devil's advocate, is that the clickers are like background in that game. I don't think of it as like that's the point of the game is going up against the clickers.
Yeah.
The point of the game is going up against like people, and occasionally clickers turn up.
Yeah.
But the horror element that they add to that series
The
is
sound
an
design
important
is
part of
pretty
the
phenomenal.
and the idea
Yeah,
of the spores being a thing that can infect you as well, and they're like, like you'd go into those underground sections with all the fungus everywhere.
Well, I guess
Here's the other reason we need to keep clickers is chat are very against clickers on this list.
Oh,
they're definitely
there was
staying.
plenty of hashtag clickers crew in the
There
chat.
was?
Yeah,
There was? Oh, lots of, because there's just a lot of clicker argument right now.
Clicker's my number
It's
one.
very contentious. This list is very important.
Of course.
PNC virus should go.
Well, okay, but back to
I agree.
my original point there when I was saying Infected from Left 4 Dead have a soft spot with all of us because we're talking about the whole all the classes. They're very unique. What I was saying before is that clickers, all the others have variations of, but I think we're pretty happy to say like we don't remember them all.
Yeah,
Like,
but
they're
it
not
wasn't
a
the same
cast
as the
of
Infected. The
characters.
Infected was like the Witch, the Smoker. The
Totally.
only other one I can remember from Last of Us is Rat King. That's it.
Yeah.
Like there's clickers and there's the Rat King clicker.
So
and
in that
that's
sense,
it.
I'm saying we're totally being unfair and biased towards Left 4 Dead, which I'm so happy to do in the sense that I don't want to have to drill over like the different types of necromorphs and all that kind of stuff.
Don't you remember the ones that can like that crawl on their hands and knees and they can hear really well?
What are we talking about?
In clickers.
Left 4 Dead.
In the clickers.
Oh,
Sorry, no,
no,
so you're talking about Last of Us.
Yeah. I'm not saying no. I was just saying that like name wise, I can remember the Witch, the Smoker, like that sort of thing from there. But in the Last of Us, it's like, oh yeah, that's just a kind of a different clicker down there.
Oh, sure.
All of these have variations, but
Fair.
That's
Left
why
4 Dead's the only
keeping
one we're
Left 4 Dead.
keeping them
Yeah.
all there. The others, I'm
Everyone's
sure
saying
not.
delete Nazi. Interesting.
Why? That's like the most. I would argue the most satisfying zombie
Yep.
to kill is you got to kill a bad thing twice.
Yeah.
Come on,
100%.
How many times do you get to do
Okay.
that?
Yeah, I would say
virus.
TC virus goes.
Yeah.
And also, like TC virus, the Plants vs Zombie is just a cartoon version of the one above it.
Yeah.
They wear the
They're
same
in the
outfit.
same brown
Yeah, yeah.
suit.
TC virus guy just lost his tie. That's the only difference. Goodbye.
All right, go on.
Now we've got 5 sexy games left.
So, Plants vs. Zombie, number one zombie.
Yeah.
I'm with you on Nazi zombie.
Yeah.
Nah. There's
It's Nazi or
I would say the Infected is number one. I would say like Left 4 Dead,
Wow.
the zombie experience that you would have in Left 4 Dead is the OG experience
They
for
also-
so many people, and it's like one that we all experienced in groups together. And I like the way they iconicized. Is that a word?
is now.
Yeah, you just did it.
The idea of the different like types of
classes,
zombies,
yeah.
and like the fear that they instill in you when those zombies would arrive.
And the fact that had mobs of fast-moving fodder zombies in it as well. So
Yeah.
as a game categorizing all the zombies, yeah. Will, if you'd be so kind, just throw them in any order, and we might give them a bit of a shuffle.
But put the Infected on the top.
And the same thing when you see them like when you would see them like shambling towards you, and you're like, do I even have a walnut to put in front of this thing? It was like, that's so horrifying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
There's that moment
yeah,
you're like-
and it would be like, I need a plant to squirt at them, and that'll get them. Yeah.
Oh, my sunflowers are ready.
So I am happy. Working from the bottom up, I would be happy to put necromorphs.
This is
but-
my list. Will, you made my list.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid list. That's actually a really solid list. I would be happy. I can say if we want it, like necromorphs,
down.
I think belong higher up, but I'm happy for them to just be on the list. So I would take 5.
Yeah.
Five.
They're actually brilliant.
It's so cool.
And it's brilliant shooting off their limbs. Like, they all work in different ways, and part of what makes them so exciting to fight was that you're fighting with like engineering tools. So it was like, oh, I need to use this like disc blade thing to sever the right limb of this type of necromorph.
I know what you mean. It just
Very
never
cool.
felt like fighting zombies for me.
My list-
What I would say.
You were playing on a 480p TV at the time.
You're right,
If you were in
And I was
4K, you'd see the
terrified.
fingers. Yeah.
I think the Infected should be on the top.
Yeah, right below PVZ zombie, infected for sure.
No.
And then, okay, let's work from the bottom up. Let's go
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
up. Okay,
yeah.
so let's go
Necromorphs
necromorphs.
Necromorphs on the
is
bottom.
5. Cool.
Necromorphs can be 5.
Like
they
clickers, then?
Well, I think clickers should stay where they are.
Did we, again, sorry, and if we don't, it's all good. Do we have any footage of any of this? If not, all good. I just, I need to remind
What do you want to see?
some of them.
Show us some necromorphs.
Show us some.
That's kind of what I was
necromorphs.
If possible,
necromorph.
Will, that'd be amazing.
Give me
but
some dead stuff.
I need to be convinced that they even need to stay on
So
the list.
I don't want this to influence anything.
Sure.
Except I definitely do.
Yeah.
Best zombie, 68% of the chat, Plants vs Zombies.
Chat knows what's up.
And then the second best zombie is Clickers at 15. Infected is the equal 3rd, 4th, and 5th with the other 3.
Yeah, okay.
Show us some necromorphs.
We got some
It's
necromorphs.
just something that feels like... Yes, it's...
They're aliens. I feel like they're like
It's
aliens.
human bodies that have just been. Look at the face.
Oh,
That's
man,
like
it's so
a
full on.
grotesque monster mutant.
Look at the fucking-
alien.
Don't you think it's so scary? Not only the idea that like you could come back as a zombie, but the bones in your arm would burst out of your hands to create more arms.
I guess a little part of me. What is this?
And then at some point you turn into a cartoon character.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I
so
guess just
good.
a little part of me finds them just like
This whole
not
series is really good too.
recognizable as
So
a
good.
zombie.
I wish they
Yeah,
brought it back.
I don't like
All right, okay, happy with
I
them
don't
at
like
5th. I'm okay with that.
Okay. So then,
Lock them down there.
Nazi. I think for me the list would be zombies, the infected, Nazi zombies, clickers, necromorphs.
Disagree.
So
I think while I agree that Nazi zombies,
we're gonna be here on.
while I agree that Nazi zombies are like satisfying to kill,
Yep.
I feel like it's a cheap shot at like getting a satisfying, experience for someone. Whereas the clickers is a really unique interpretation of a zombie that are horrifying and clever in their own way, and the sound they make is like uniquely terrifying, and the evolution of them and the application of like this is a thing that could happen in the real world somehow, kind of almost maybe.
But
I think they should stay where they are. They are more sophisticated than Nazi zombies, which are kind of like everyone hates Nazis
Also, Origins-
and everyone hates zombies. Let's sandwich them together.
I'm with Steph on this in the sense that origins of Nazi zombies in all the games is actually really boring, whereas Clickers, it's interesting. There's always like, I was a mad German scientist who tried to keep them alive, and I've made zombies.
It's only
like,
boring now though because it's like
in the 40s, it was hot, hot, tough.
yeah.
What about these zombies? See, they're all coming back to life.
I also feel like it. Well, like I feel like it's a pure represent, except for Plants vs Zombie. It's the most pure
Have you seen
representation
the
of a
Plants
zombie on here.
vs. Nazi
I think I'm happy to concede and allow Plants vs Zombie to be on the top.
You don't
If-
allow anything.
if-
It is there where it belongs.
If clickers stay where they are.
Okay, we're doing a little bit of horse trading here.
I
See what's going on.
will say that I like the list how it is
Me
as
too.
well. But the thing that could dock clickers a few points is that I think that they are, if you put them next to the infected, it's a very similar kind of thing. It's like the reason that clickers are interesting is the reasons that I like clickers are the same reasons that I like infected. So that's where I can be, and I prefer infected.
But I feel like both of those reasons are better than Nazi zombies.
Yeah, and I think you're probably right, which is why I think I like the list as it is.
I'm good with it because I think also clickers being where they are is a nice show that like an interesting take on the zombies. The rest of them are pretty much just like reanimated dead people, where it's like clickers are the real world version that made its way into the list. It's not just there for the theatric of the story or something. I'm with you. I'm thinking that's definitely they
I'm
definitely
just
don't
watching
go-
Steph's face.
I know.
Excuse
My
so
favorite
hard.
part of everyone thinks that I come up with this segment just to piss off the audience. It's actually just to piss off Steph. We'll lock in number 1 because we've all agreed that that's where that is.
All agreed.
Yeah, because if
Yes.
clickers and then locking
Yeah,
3
yeah.
because it came with 1.
Yes.
There's no way. I see what you're doing, but there's no fucking way
Nazis
that
aren't
Nazi
going up
zombies
to
are
two.
going to swap with infected.
No way.
No, I said lock in 3.
Yeah.
because you want
You've
to
left
switch
2 and
to
4
Oh, okay,
open.
right. Oh,
You've left 2 and 4
yeah.
open.
So let me tell you the advantages of Nazis for a while. Please, come on.
Lee, play the song! Lee, play the song!
Play the
Prove a
song.
point.
I'm willing to hear him out.
I think that the
Zombies had some great ideas.
We had a list that was inspired by Resident Evil, and one of the first things we got is Resident Evil zombies.
Yeah.
I think that the Nazi zombies.
Luxton quoted you, the advantage of Nazis.
Put it on a T-shirt. In this out of context world, I'll win that fight. They're fun to kill. They are truly horrific, both physically and from an ethos.
Yeah.
And I also feel like they kind of represent the thing that for years and years and years has scared people about zombies, which is like people coming back to life, not people getting morphed into some
shit.
weird vagina head that runs at you.
Yeah, but also, like, the fact that they are Nazis is, like, rendered irrelevant the moment they become zombies. Because it's like,
That's
you
true.
don't really...
They're not doing it for Hitler anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I
they're-
thought there were
They're doing it for
parallels
brains.
in between things just mindlessly following towards like a very evil cause. I thought like we were drawing some duality there, but apparently not.
I
I'm just saying.
cannot believe I'm about to say this, but Steph just made a very good point.
You got him.
Just about the list segment. Normally I think Steph is a very cogent thinker, but when it comes to the list, her opinions are trash. But you're right. When they become zombies, they stop having a reprehensible moral outlook and just indiscriminately, like we could reanimate Hitler and we could put Hitler in front of Nazi zombies and they'd kill him.
That's
And
true.
so at that point we'd go
Therefore,
hero.
Yeah. They can
You
join
can
the
take the
Allies.
Those Nazis
At that
are
point-
all right.
Yeah.
You can take the uniform.
Do that one more
off.
time, just so we got a nice clean.
They're hungering for brain. So it's like, no, I totally agree in the sense that.
Well...
Oh god.
Oh no, we've lost Gus. We've won Nick and we've lost Gus. Well, let me give you this,
Gus
Gus.
has this moment every single time.
I know.
This where
So
he like
true.
flips annoyingly close to the end. Just hold fast.
Just hold fast. Totally. And let me tell you, sorry to sidetrack a little bit, but this is very important. We were all working upstairs and we had Uber Eats ordered and it was going to get delivered to our office. And you got a hardball with that. It's like, come up to the door.
Yep.
Come up to the door.
Can't find the building.
The delivery person. We're in the middle of stuff, and they let you know that they're there, and it's like cool. The actual like level and door number is on the order, but let me just text it to you again, just so we're aware. Level 3, come on up. And then it was like Gus was like got ping, and I was like just send him like the level again, and then he was like ping, and he's like. I was like, hold. And he was like, Oh. And he folded so fast.
Yeah, like a Nazi.
You're a
zombie.
folder. The other thing I'd say...
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
This is a good
Lock
list.
them in, Will.
This is a good list.
Look
This
at
is
it
a good
all.
list. So the final list of the best zombies of all time, definitively. Number 1.
Oh,
Plants
from the
vs.
bottom.
Oh, from the bottom. Okay, fine. Number 5, necromorphs. Number 4, Nazi zombies. Number 3, clickers. Number 2, the infected from Left 4 Dead. And number 1, Plants vs. Zombie.
I think it just makes everyone happy that we've agreed on the number 1, and so
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
else
yeah.
falls underneath it, and we're okay with it because we've had some contentious number 1.
This is our least contentious number 1 by far.
Definitely,
Yeah,
and look
yeah.
at his cute little eyes.
And I would say that all of these zombies got points for not being able to be played with the disaster that was the GameCube controller.
Yeah, totally. And they should all be played with the best controller of all time, which is, of course, the Atari stick. Thank you very much for everyone in the chat for contributing and helping to this one. I feel like this one got totally nailed.
Yeah.
We'll be back with another list segment once the friendship is repaired again. But this was also probably the best one for us as a group. Don't you reckon?
I think so.
It's only the third.
Yeah, no, but
I would say
pretty
it's
traumatic.
probably the one that I was like least invested in.
Which is why, the stress is way lower than
you're still talking to us.
Yeah.
We are going to be back with the end of the show after this.
Thank you.
I see a bunch of familiar names in the chat, and Nicrotex, who we've drawn a logo for, said just before the stream started, got my ice cream, got my weighted blanket, let's go. And it feels like a very snug way to watch.
It's a very safe space to be in to
wanna
watch
try a weighted
a very naughty show.
What
I'm going to infiltrate that weighted blanket.
What the hell?
PO unboxing.
No.
Unpeer boxing.
Yes.
Can I flip the camera?
Yes.
This is hard.
Yes.
Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap.
You got him so hard. Oh my god, it's fucking
Right? Scalpel.
Why are you chopping it? No, that you'll cut your thigh.
I'll be fine.
It's even got butt cheeks! Oh my god! What's going on?
Master of the baby puppet.
You are about to be proved very, very wrong.
This is what I call the old toe picker.
I only have me. He knows who I love.
What did I do? Oh my gosh, is this my Nando's?
LokiCat wants you to think he's a good-looking man who wistfully looks off into the distance at weddings. But what is he hiding? Not only is he not the Norse god of mischief and the rightful heir of Jotunheim, he's not even a real cat. He was born a boy. But now that boy's all grown up, and that overgrown boy loves birds.
The man likes his cockatiels.
But does he love those birds too much?
This man sleeps with birds.
And cockatiels aren't the only Australian icon he's tried to fuck.
Those are flaming crows!
Is this flamin' galah who you want in charge of the country if he ever decided to run for political office? LokiCat. When you head to the polls this weekend, make this 9th life his last. Authorised and paid for by Nick Boy Richardson.
Ooh, welcome back. I cannot believe that once a month, kind of, we run a commercial where we accuse one of our beloved viewers of fucking birds. And He continues to watch the show.
Well, he did say that ad sets my cockatiel off.
Yeah.
So is the bird like what is
Aroused?
It? The bird,
What does it know?
What is it? Oh my god! Also, we didn't mention it at the end of the list, but look at the list of zombies.
Oh, we're going back to the
I am
list?
so ready for another Plants vs Zombies. I love that game, and
That
then
was it,
Garden
yeah.
Warfare is actually a really fun shooter.
Yeah, they did. The second traditional Plants vs Zombies was free to play and had like a whole world map, and just,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It didn't fall prey to the whole like microtransaction thing too heavily. I think there was still a lot of game there.
Just fun.
I did a few sponsored streams for Plant vs Zombies Garden Warfare,
Warfare,
but I've struggled to find like
Matches. There were enough.
matches.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there are. I know of a couple of people who still play it, and they're like, I just play against like the same 8 people.
Yeah.
That's it. And we just have an agreed time to go on, and the servers will match us.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's actually a really fun shooter. It's a shame it didn't take off. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. This is not about zombies. Let's talk about something else. You saw in there as well the PO unboxing videos.
Un-PO boxing.
Un-PO boxing.
We'll get it eventually.
We'll get
So it's like lots of different unPO boxings put into one video.
So the way that they've been edited is because we often only have one package here and we film it when we get them.
Yeah.
Is that will put like multiple openings together.
Oh, that's
Putting
nice.
multiple openings together is
That's a necromorph.
how he spends most of his
That's a human centipede.
Now that's a necromorph.
But those videos get released on the Discord and on the Patreon
Correct.
page as
Yeah.
well. But we'd sort of do the full unboxing, and there's lots of thank yous and beloved, like outrageous joy. The one that you saw in there that I don't think have we done the Eminem picture?
No, we haven't. That's
So
to come.
I think that's third, yeah? That's
Yes.
the next one? Yeah.
Vegabus sent us this, which if Gus moves, that pockety is, which you see behind us, is actually entirely made of M&Ms. And that video was so funny because Steph and I were doing it, and you were opening it, and you were like, I don't know what it is. And I was like, well, I'm just happy it's not M&Ms because I feel like we've gotten so many M&Ms that I'm just getting a bit over it, and then opened it up, and it's a framed M&M picture. Phenomenal. Amazing.
And they're really
so cool.
they're delightfully edited together, and while they're probably self-indulgent, they're really funny. It's like, we just go ham on like ripping those things open, and we're very thankful. And yeah, they're a heap of fun to watch.
And don't forget that now when you send hideous shirts in, I will wear them.
He legally.
This one's nice. So you will wear this.
Yeah, this is
out,
actually a
though.
decent
It's a decent
It's a great
shirt.
This is actually a decent shirt.
Is it accurate?
No, it is not a board of anything.
Okay,
it's
right.
there's a bunch of audio here. There's
got it.
like
Gonna talk
some
about audio,
some
yeah.
old school SCART. Remember that cable?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
pins.
Yeah.
Lots of pins. Yeah, VGA.
Yeah, okay.
All sorts of bullshit.
This is all the openings.
It's just a collection of. I mean, there's no reason this board couldn't exist, but it shouldn't.
Yeah. You would say, like necromorphs and like what Will does in his spare time, it's just a collection of openings.
It's just this is a large collection of openings.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Reese. Was there something else we needed to say?
There was the tease for the Game Club as well, but we've mentioned that.
Yeah,
a few
the
times
teaser
already
Game
this
Club.
week.
Come play Resident Evil. I've been waiting so long for this. I cannot tell you, and let's talk about me for a moment. I cannot tell you how difficult it was watching these people play the game and knowing that I had to wait until tomorrow to start. But that has been made all the sweeter by the fact that I get to play it with a bunch of cool people watching at the same time. So come along tomorrow. Going to be starting at 1 o'clock on this Twitch channel you're watching right now. We're going to play some Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, and I guess obviously if anyone is new to that concept as well, we've said it a few times, but end of the month, we'll have a special full-length additional episode that we do. We did it for It Takes Two, which is up on the YouTube channel. You can have a look at that one, which is kind of essentially we decided afterwards. It's a long-form review, but it's just a looser opinion chat version of a review where we all just weigh in and.
Yeah, I would say it's the most good gamey critique that we do of any game on this show. Because
Sure.
we spend a whole kind of decent amount of time going into every aspect of it.
Yeah.
But by that same token, it means that you have to have played or watched the stream of the game so that if you want to play it, like it's not getting spoiled for you because we go super
Full
spoilery on it.
spoilers.
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say, like, I do enjoy, like, I often like to finish a game and then watch a bunch of reviews and be like, were my opinions justified? Or
So many people who watched Good Game were always like, it's not like they were, especially because we rarely got reviews out before the game was released because it was a TV show that took a week to make. But so many people were like, I never watched it because I wanted to like get advice on whether or not I should pick this game up. But it was like, I'd already finished it and I wanted to hear what you guys said about it.
So hopefully that's kind of what this caters for, in the sense that play the game, finish the game, come and see if your opinions are validated, if we go hard against them and you were wrong and we were right the whole time, and it's a heap of fun.
And I should point out that something else that people are wanting, that the stream starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow, but I probably won't be starting the game until about 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Oh my God. I tuned into that stream.
Book reviews.
I don't know.
Wikipedia.
Whatever comes into my mind. I'm a man with many interests. I'm a man that enjoys the finer things.
His mind is open with many
He was
openings.
just Googling random stuff and looking things up in like dictionaries and stuff.
Who are you to tell him how to stream his life?
Exactly. At one point, I hid in my own fold-up sofa.
That clip is so fucking good.
I unfolded the sofa and then thought, I wonder if I could hide in here and scare people. And then I refolded the sofa onto me and tried to put the pillows back on top.
Did you tell everyone in the chat to just be cool if anyone joins the chat and says, what's happening? You're like, we have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, immediately I was like, oh, that'd be so funny to record a little like just plate of your room, go for a pee, cue up that scene that's just the looped video of your empty room.
Wow.
So get into it and just have it like auto switch back to the other scene after a minute to give you a minute to get in.
So can I tell you what I did?
Please.
Sorry, there was when I was hosting the OPL, so the League of Legends scene, until I was 100% fired from that because they just did not vibe with what I was giving them. No, that's not what was happening. But we had an hour-long pause during one game where I needed to fill time with my co-host. And something that I did, we used vMix, which is this like complicated broadcast streaming software. And I did the thing where you could pause your input. So I could pause my camera and it would just freeze on the last frame before you pause.
Yeah.
So I would do things during this where I would just sort of like lean off camera or something, or like walk off and then lean back in and click pause. And then I would come back in and I would like change outfits and then unpause and go, and I also did stuff where I would just freeze myself and wait until like people were like, is Nick okay? And then I was like, so that sort of stuff. There's all sorts of things you can
I like to think in that scenario, you don't scare anyone by leaping out of the couch. You go to take a pee, and then you casually climb out of the couch and settle back in.
Yeah. Totally. It's like
Chapter 3.
You've just come from the cellar. You come up with a bottle of wine and a glass. Then you're like,
Wrong vintage. Back down. Go under the bed and then start again.
That's funny.
Oh, why have we done this?
I kind of remember what we're talking about. Come watch the Resident Evil Village tomorrow. It'll be a fun time. And then, like we said, next week the news will be on Tuesday.
Yep.
There'll be another Game Club stream next week as well. And then we'll have the show on Thursday.
Can I make a loose promise?
Yeah, sure.
Because we were talking about how long we thought Resident Evil takes to play, to complete. Pete and I, roughly 8 hours. I've seen reviews, 10 hours, that kind of thing as well. So pending how many of those you have coming up, the streams to get through the game, if you so happen to get through the whole thing and have a few streams left over before we do the end of the month one, I was proposing, I really had a good time doing the POC Art stream the other night.
Yep.
We got through, I think 6.
We did 8 in 24 hours.
Yeah, so there's 9, I think. So 6, 7, 8. I have 3 plus those
3 and
ones
then
as
6,
well.
I think, yeah.
So I've got a bunch of sketches
Good
to
math,
get through.
mate.
Thank you. Wait, him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you said 8,
You
mate.
said 8. And he said, anyway, moving on. I shouldn't have been. Steph, I'm so sorry.
I've got a heap of them to get through. However, I had a heap of fun designing the Cody and May pocketies for the It Takes Two stream the other month.
Yeah.
So I thought I could do a stream Resident Evil theme where I design all the cast from Resident Evil as pocketies.
Oh, yeah.
To rapturous applause.
No. I think it's a great idea. I just think that the 22 people we owe POC Art logos to are like, what?
They're still going to get theirs, but this will be like... I still have to fill in all those, but I want to do like a Lady... Is it Lady Demonstratus?
Lady D.
Style pockety. I want to do like a Lycan pockety. I want to do like all the other characters that are in that game I really liked. So I was keen to do that. Anyway, it was something I thought I could do.
That'd be fun.
Resident Evil themed while I'm still finishing everyone else's podcast.
That sounds great. And if it brings you joy, I think you should do it, Gus.
Thanks, Steph.
That's sure. No, that's
Really
no,
tall,
it's
sexy pockety.
No, and I'll tell you what. While we've got a little bit of time, I would just wanted to say that I had a lot of fun on that art stream because I really liked not being on camera.
So easy.
And yeah, it was so easy. Like I was doing other things.
Yeah, same.
At one point, I was playing a video game. I changed my pants at one point as well. Like I had no pants on while I was talking to you.
He climbed into the couch. No one was watching.
And sometimes
Can
my
I
kids
do
would
it?
come into the room and I would just like mute the microphone and I would talk to my kids for 5 minutes. Then I'd join back in and then I'd hear these two talking. I'd just go, yeah, great idea.
We came up with some
More
really
feet.
More feet.
More feet.
Yeah.
We came up with some really cool designs. Coastal City was one I remember that I have a lot of work ahead of me to finish that one. Put
Yeah,
way
it's
too
gonna be
much
sick.
detail in them as usual. And there are still, as Nick mentioned, a heap of people who are owed them. They will get done. They will either be the sketches done on the show or in a dedicated POC art stream as well.
That happens after the Resident Evil.
That happens after. I just want to stay in the whole month of Resident Evil.
no. Look,
I'm going to have to make them anyway for the stream. I thought, let's do it
being the
online.
voice of the people here. I secretly never want you to complete those podcasts, but I just feel like someone needs to stand up for these poor souls. All right, are you one of the poor souls that pays money to this show? We love you for it. Thank you very much. We genuinely appreciate your support. If you are not one of those people and you're interested, head to patreon.com/backpocket. Head to backpocket.gg to get the links to everything. Our shop, our podcasts. Oh, we got to talk about that podcast.
Oh, we came up with one. Post show? Post show?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. When you say something out loud, then you have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do it on this.
Unless it's POC art logos. Yeah, just head there and you'll get the links to everything that we do and you can enjoy it. All right, that's the show. I've run out of puff.
No, I've got one more thing.
Pete's got puff.
Oh, no.
Let's not end this show.
Is it?
It's not 5 years. It's not.
Oh, God.
It is words from sponsors, as we do all the time. If you're working on one, get it finished for poor Will.
Yeah.
He's building out ad breaks.
You
All
don't
the ones we have are
understand
great.
how much we love them. Like, we love
They're
them
the funniest
so
things in the
much.
world.
And when we get a week where you don't send them in, we're all like a little bit depressed.
Well,
It's because we are.
That's why
Steph-
the energy was down this week.
Yeah.
Gus pointed it out, and
really-
rightfully so.
we
yeah.
really, really love
Steph
them.
walked into the office today and she was like, "Did anyone queef this week?" And we had to say no.
No, but they're little.
Well, I said twice, but I didn't film it. So
They're little windows into you guys and who you are and your lives, and we love to see them and we love to make them a part of our show. So please send them in, please, please, please.
Of
please.
course, like
You'll make me so happy specifically.
speaking of the Patreon and all that, that used to be one that was there, and we're like, no, hang on, everyone should send these in. So, like, yeah, I think the link to actually send them in is the Google Doc.
Rattlesnake says, should we just send new ones each week? Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah,
Send as many as you want.
we want you to just like this is your creative outlet, and we get to enjoy it. So we win. But like, do as many as you want, and they'll all make it in.
And also,
That's
like,
new
Gus nearly got caught out doing a poo and not being back in time. And if there were some words from our sponsors to pad out that ad break, he would have been able to excavate calmly.
Excavate?
Yeah, isn't that what you do?
No.
Evacuate?
Yes.
Okay.
You
Wait,
excrete.
no one goes in there and digs around?
He's been spelunking again.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Excavating provided a very visual image that nobody wants.
I'm a storyteller, Steph. It's gonna fuck you and eat you. We're gonna back it out. Good night, everybody.
5 years for what you did.
It was
Do not
going
forget
so well.
what you did.
Yeah.